on Titans? Because I've watched the first couple of episodes. Have you guys watched that at all? Because I've heard the ending of it is great. What?
I heard it gets better. But I haven't heard anything about like the end of it. But I cannot fucking stand that show because it is like 85% people screaming an interior monologue. Like I just can't. I can't stand it at all. Like the animation is sweet. I just like it's better to watch without sound. I guess.
Do you have a similar opinion,
I watched the first season. And I'm gonna finish it eventually. But yeah, I agree. It's kind of like Dragon Ball Z, where it's like you want to get to the fight, but there's so much to get through before you get to the fight, and then the fight's over like that, and you're like,
yeah,
that's right.
We are back, and it took me 2 people to replace Dan today. We have George and Scott is back on the show. So, George, there's no Perfect 10 tonight?
No, we are taking the holiday off.
We will
be back.
I don't understand why they call it Labor Day if nobody wants to work. Like,
to respect the people that did labor. By not
we have the star and the warden are partying hard throughout the whole weekend, and there is a AEW pay-per-view that is also on tonight. So Clint and I actually both will be wrapped up with that. But next week we kind of have something up Max's alley. I heard we are doing the Perfect 10 TV cartoons.
Oh, that is up his alley.
Oh, hello. I like that.
and I hadn't conferred anything with Clint yet, Max, but sounds like that's something that you'd probably be interested in joining us for.
Yeah, I actually would be interested in joining you for that one. I'm very interested in that. All right, so like, what are the parameters you're talking about? Like, does it have to be aired on like regular television, or like does Netflix count? Like, what's your?
It's anything that would technically be as far as a TV show, so not movie related. It would have to be. It would have to be a TV series. It would have to be a series. So, the cartoon series, not one of the little 6-week things or whatever.
And I have to limit myself to 10.
That's the hard part. I already told Clint there will be a lot of BC ones, that's for sure, because I'm a 70s kid, so there will be a few that are BC.
Everybody, you can check out the Perfect 10 on the 3 Geeks page and on the Dueling Aces page Sundays at 9 p.m.
Actually, it's not on the Dueling Aces page. The Perfect 10 actually has its own page as well.
Oh, cool.
So we're here on 3 Geeks and our own page. So, and thanks again for that, Jason. We appreciate it.
No problem. The 3 Geeks non-network that I'm doing right now. So. Anyway, we got a cool show lined up for everybody. We got Phil Better joining us for the second half to talk Star Trek. I think Max might have froze, or he's just not moving at all.
There, no, he's there.
I'm just not moving. There's a Tyrannosaurus Rex over there. I'm just trying not to get eaten.
It's like fucking Drax.
You've been there for hours. If I'm staying
Yep, invisible. Wait, you can see me? Can everyone see me?
Yeah, we can see you, no problem. And we can hear you now.
All right, what are we talking about? What are we doing?
Sorry, I had to fix my microphone. We are talking about all of the stuff. We've got stuff to talk about. First, Max called Shang-Chi, and Shang-Chi's getting a lot of buzz, and Max has been hit or miss with Marvel this year, and I'm kind of curious what Max thought of Shang-Chi.
Jason, is it just me or is his mic just terrible right now?
His mic
is god awful right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jason.
I'm gonna work on that. Why, Matt?
Hey,
it's good. You're good.
That sounds good.
Yeah, you fixed it. Whatever you did, you fixed it.
Yeah. I went and saw Shang-Chi, and I had because after Iron Fist, I was like, well, Marvel certainly does not know how to do kung fu, and we'll see how this goes. But I freaking loved Shang-Chi. It is fun. The kung fu is fucking awesome. I'm going to see it again. I'm probably going to see it 3 or 4 times in the theater. I'm super excited about this movie. I thought it was going to be another B-list or C-list Marvel movie, and there's good, solid, funny parts. Awkwafina is not annoying in this one. I really dug her. I feel like she's kind of getting pushed. There's a big Awkwafina push, and I wasn't really a fan of that. But she's really good in this one.
If you're really thirsty.
I see what you did there.
No.
Dad joke quote. Check that off. But no, it's really, really good. I can't say enough good things about it. I had a fucking blast watching this movie. 4 out of 5 for me. It's just a solid kung fu flick, and then Disney actually did something right with kung fu. I'm amazed. After watching Iron Fist and Mulan, I was really worried that they weren't going to be able to do this right. But no, I thought it was a solid flick for sure.
I see it later today. I'm really excited. I'm glad you said that because I was really worried about it. But now I'm really hoping.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I hadn't if you. Because going in there with low expectations and watching the movie, you're like, holy shit, So it's tough. Definitely go check it out. This is the one you want to see in the theaters. While they're still letting people in the theaters.
Yeah, we plan on it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going with Emily tomorrow. I can't wait to go. I heard, Max, I'm not going to spoil it, but I actually know what the end credit scenes are. But I heard the end credit scenes were fantastic.
Yes, they're good. There's 2 of them. So make sure you hang out for both. It is really cool. Oh yeah, I was in the theater and people start to get up and leave. I'm like, you fucking amateurs! Have you not done Marvel movies before?
We have a decade of our Marvel movies to go off of.
I'm googling how many extra credit scenes there are, and I was like, "There's 2 scenes." And it was like, "Oh, thanks," and then sat back down. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Did I tell you when I went and saw Thor Ragnarok and somebody got up and was like, "There's nothing after this"? He said it to me because I was on the end. And he's like, "There's nothing after the credits."
You're wrong.
He was wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, did Ferris Bueller teach anybody anything about making sure you stay for after? Ferris Bueller taught us: wait till the end.
Stay till the end of the credits. It's amateurs, just amateurs. That's all it is. But
they're living their best life.
We're here to help the people.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. You just make sure that everyone stays for all the seasons. Yeah, they really are worth watching.
So the 3 Geeks podcast is joining the Scene Snobs Star Trek week this week. We will be doing Star Trek for the second hour, our top 5 Star Trek movies. I'm really curious to see how Max's top 5 plays out. And
you shouldn't be.
I'm really super excited.
Man, look at all those tabs.
You know what's funny is Dan asked if we could do episodes today too, and I said sure, Dan. Top 5 Star Trek, just top 5 Star Trek. It's fine. So I think Phil might be the only person doing TV mixed in as well. But yeah, Dan is out today because they're doing Labor Day a day early. I didn't know people celebrated Labor Day like that.
I mean, listen, if you get a chance to celebrate after COVID, or not after, we're still in COVID, but I appreciate people getting together now more than ever did before. You get a chance to do so, do it in a healthy way.
Yeah, that's true. And the internet broke this week with nerds everywhere rejoicing because they got to see this. Hopefully, we don't get blocked on YouTube for this. And why can everybody else react to trailers on YouTube, but when we do it, we get yelled at?
It means we're coming up in the world.
Enough during the trailer. Oh, what? Rick and Morty.
Ah,
Oh, jeez.
so good.
That's awesome.
They did a pickle one too. They just released it where Christopher Lloyd just picks up the pickle and eats it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I
I love Christopher Lloyd. He's so
Yeah, I
good.
don't know how much this is
Oh
going
my
to be.
goodness.
I assume it's just like little shorts. It's
Yeah.
probably not going to be like a whole thing, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with just little, tidbits.
Did you guys ever watch the movie Nobody? He's
I
in
didn't.
that.
Yes, I
Yeah,
was about to
he's
say,
he's
Christopher
awesome.
Lloyd
In that.
kicks ass in that movie.
Yeah, he's great.
How old is he? He's getting up.
He's up there. Yeah, he's up there.
I think he's 83.
That's crazy.
Oh, goodness.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool
83.
though. Hey, he's still doing shit. Yeah, like fuck yeah, dude. Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher
I
Lloyd,
love him in
82.
Nobody.
I'm sorry to age you 1 year, Christopher Lloyd. You're only 82. So.
That's important when you get up there, man.
Every year is a badge of encouragement.
Lloyd and Sam Elliott. Which one's older? Which one you got to guess is older?
I would assume.
Well, Sam Elliott has been 70 for like 35 years.
Right?
He was 70 when he was 30.
Sam
like
Elliott
Steve
and Danny Trejo have been like 63 for, I'm going to say, 40 to 50 years.
Yeah, you're right. Danny Trejo does not look at all changed from the passage of time, I don't think. But he was always really wrinkly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he was 20 years old and looked like he was 55. But like now that he's 55, he looks like he's 55.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Elliott was probably about 35 and he looked like he was 65. And it's like, are you 65 yet? Nope, not yet.
Nope. And then he'd like tip his hat to you. And he's just like, God, Sam Elliott.
Tip his hat, too.
He's looked the same since The Big Lebowski. Probably before that too.
Yeah, before that. Like, that's just what you saw him in, you know?
Yeah, exactly. There's probably lots of stuff that he was in that he looked exactly the same.
Yeah, and then when he pops in for a cameo, you sit there and go, damn, is that CGI?
I mean, and his voice, though. I think Sam Elliott's voice is more like if I hear it, it's like, oh, fucking Sam Elliott, I am down. Like, I don't know. That's what I think about Sam Elliott. I think he's got a really good voice.
So the internet, well, not the internet. So Marvel movies and Free Guy seem to be the only movies doing well at the box office. And so that has caused, Johnny Knoxville has started this trend of pushing Jackass 4 back. And I was telling Max this. I went and saw Free Guy and they showed the Jackass 4 trailer. And the entire trailer, the entire theater was laughing, cracking up, from young kids to old adults. Everybody was laughing together. And I'm like, as I'm watching the trailer, I'm like, wow, is Jackass the thing that America needs right now? Like,
what about old kids or young adults?
What's that? Oh, yeah, all of the above. And Johnny Knoxville has decided to push Jackass back to next year due to the rising numbers in COVID. And following suit, Tom Cruise has pushed back Top Gun 2 and Mission Impossible 7.
Yeah, I heard that Top Gun got delayed again.
38.
And then Ghostbusters was
I'm
delayed
excited
by a
about
week.
Top Gun.
Yeah, I am too.
Does anyone know like how much money is lost when like how do I want to phrase it? Like if I'm releasing 2 digital and theater in the same time, like how roughly they manage, like what's the deficit of that? Like if they'd just done a strictly theater, like let's say last year pre-COVID, how much they would have made it was just straight to theater rather than this hybrid model of digital and theater. Like there's got to be some numbers be like, hey, it's not worth us going out if we're not going to get butts in seats. You know what I mean?
Shang-Chi probably would have done about 120 to 130 pre-COVID, and it did 97. So I mean, that's still, it's going to do 97. So that's still like extraordinary. But it's only Marvel and Ryan Reynolds that are pulling in these numbers right now.
How happy are you to be Ryan Reynolds to be like, you know what, it's me and Marvel?
You know what, man? I have been a Ryan Reynolds fan. I've been a fan of his since 2 Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. So the fact that Ryan Reynolds is consistently putting out good stuff now, like it just validates my entire fandom for the last 20-some years.
Okay, well, how good did the Hitman's Bodyguard's wife do?
Ooh.
If we're talking,
Ooh.
Yeah, like let's not get carried away. It's all I'm
You know what? I love the Hitman's Bodyguard, the first one, but I forget that thing exists, and I even
Never
more
saw it.
forget that the sequel exists.
Right.
It's just a fun like buddy cop thing. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, the thing is that this right now, when you're saying trying to put the butts in the seats, Jason and I chatted a little bit earlier, and I said they need to turn around and just bite the bullet and throw this thing in, especially Top Gun. If they would have slid it for Christmas, it would have packed it. It would have totally packed the house.
I don't know, man.
A Christmas release is usually one heck of a time that you will get the butts in the seats. I mean, especially with the NFL schedule gets a light ratings set up anyway because everybody's out for the holidays. And it's like, what do you usually do for the holidays? You want to do stuff with the family. Pretty much most of it. I mean, we as a family here, Christmas Day, we are seeing a movie on Christmas Day every year. We went and saw all the Star Wars. Christmas Day. It's like, boom, that is our thing. We go out Christmas Day. We open up the presents in the morning with Boog, and then boom, we're off to see a movie, man. We hit the movie theaters on Christmas Day. We love it.
You answered your own question as you were giving us your example. See, the movies that are doing really well right now, like Free Guy, not Ryan Reynolds, because Hitman's Bodyguard only did $70 million at the box office for its entire run. But movies like Free Guy and the Marvel movies are doing so well now is because it's not Top Gun is not. I mean, your kids, my kids, sure, but like most Marvel movies attract everybody from old to young, and Free Guy attracted everybody from old to young. I just don't think Top Gun and Mission Impossible is that audience that's going to pack that theater. Not until we get stuff more open. I'm like you, George. I love the movie going experience. 100%. Nothing beats going to the theater.
If it's empty, sure. I hate
Yeah,
boring
but
people.
Top Gun, I think would cover the young to old thing, especially for everybody who's been waiting for 30, 40 years for Top Gun to turn around and come up with a sequel. So
Yeah, but
I actually think it will hit that age range.
Is anybody waiting for a Top Gun sequel though? Like,
I
it's
am
a
now.
fine movie, but like, I mean, I saw it and I wasn't like, man, I can't wait to see more of that. I mean, like, it was fine, but I wasn't like, man, I can't wait for the Top Gun cinematic universe to really take off.
No, I don't think anybody was until we were getting it. Like now that we're getting it, I think people are starting to get excited about it. But pre-knowing about it,
The real question is, is there a volleyball scene? That's what people want to know. Okay?
Asking the
Are we
real
playing
questions
with
here.
boys?
I was
Are
going to
we
say,
playing
my
with
mom
boys?
is
That's-
excited to see it. My mom is in her 70s. She's excited to see it. My dad, also in his 70s, is excited to see it. So
Yeah, because your dad
before,
wants to
they
rip his
said
shirt
they
off
would
and
like
play
to see
beach
it before
volleyball.
they die. They'd like to see it before they die. I told Jason, I said, they might as well hurry up and try to get it in before Cruz dies.
Nah, he's gonna die like strapped to a rocket or something like that for some.
Yeah, how does big Scientologist go out? Like whatever that is.
No, I like does Tom Cruise like has to. He's been trying to kill himself for like the last 3 Mission Impossible movies. It's like, okay, if I strap myself to the outside of a plane, okay, if I like ride a motorcycle upside down and backwards, like will it freaking will it finally kill me? But no, he just pulls off the stunt. He does all of his own stunts, and he's just been trying to die.
I'm
on
just
set
too
for
good.
so long now. He wants to go out in a blaze of glory. There it is. The only one with his shirt on is Goose, and that's because he didn't beef up for the movie.
His name was Goose.
Also, the reason they're so sweaty is because they had been drinking pretty hard the night before for Tom Cruise's birthday. So they were all super hungover and just sweating it all out.
Yeah.
What a fun movie fact. I'm down to that.
that's what Scott's here for, the fun movie facts.
For
But you guys,
movies that I did not need a sequel to.
Yeah, right. It would have been cool if it was like Goose's Kid, the sequel.
you know what movie I really want a sequel to? I'd love to see a Three Amigos too.
I was biting my tongue. I've been sitting here biting my tongue.
Well, Goose's kid is just Independence Day.
I wasn't going to bring it. I was voluntarily going to bring it up, and I said, nope, I'm not going to say it.
Not today.
Brought it right in.
Chevy needs the work.
Is he broke? I don't think he does. I think he's doing just fine, right?
A, I don't think he's broke, and B, he's an asshole. Like,
So even if he did need the work, do we care?
Right, like fuck that guy. Like, we don't need more people just being douchebags around with that. Like that's fine. Those days are over.
That's funny.
I was going to say, if they get up on a horse, they're likely to break a hip.
Same.
I don't know. Steve Martin.
Hey, whatever. Clint Eastwood.
That's true.
Sam Elliott.
He's like 95 and still doing movies where he's like an action star.
You know, when people say they're built differently, I honestly think Clint Eastwood's built differently. Like, that's a different kind of person.
Yeah, he's like a freaking concert pianist.
Who's a concert pianist? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Is an
Clint
android.
Eastwood.
Is he?
He's got to be an android.
Yeah, he's definitely different. Like that's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. Like, what can he do? I don't know.
Yeah, agreed.
Clint Eastwood's probably like performing surgery in a fucking
with like a revolver from one of his Western movies. Like, let me shoot this out of here.
Like, rip the bullet apart and he's like, all right,
Don't worry, I did this on the back of a horse once. We're fine.
No joke. No joke.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Funny stuff. Funny. It sucks that Dan's not here because we're not going to get our review of Hope Never Dies.
Oh, did he finish it?
I think so.
Okay. I want to read that.
Did we ever hear back from the author?
Not yet. I'm working on it. I tried contacting him directly. Now I'm going to try his agent.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You probably should have done that in the first place. Isn't that the way to go?
Well, sometimes you get lucky though, and they like if they're telling their agent they want to be on something, that's definitely going to happen. Versus the agent's like, okay, well, you know, there's another podcast who wants to talk to you, or he.
Fair enough.
So
fair enough.
Sometimes you get lucky, and then also sometimes Randy fucking Quaid just
he blocks us on Twitter. Friend of the podcast, Randy Quaid.
September 17th and 18th, we will be at Monroe Pop Fest, joined by pop culture addicts, the PVD cast, and funny science fiction. I'm excited to hang out with Kathleen and Tim for the first time, but I'm excited to go to a con. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to look at some artwork and meet some people, you know, at a safe distance.
What if all of our costumes were just like a 6-foot circle around us? Like we're just like bumper carring our way through. Yeah.
And I will be up in that state up north that weekend. We have a family function going on, but I am definitely going to try to make it in.
Cool.
You know,
Don't get yourself in trouble, man. You know what happens when you miss family functions.
I'm sure.
I don't know what happens.
I can clear the morning. I think the morning could be cleared up, so I think I'll be all right.
When you're married, Justin, and you miss a family function.
Because freaking marijuana is recreational in Michigan. That's the one good thing.
Max is going 3 days early.
I got a whole business plan.
You know,
Max is already there.
Yeah, I've been in Michigan for 2 weeks.
No, I couldn't stand it that long. As you can see, Buckeye Nation. I know where I belong, but you know, that's the one thing that they got on us. But I mean, like, they have to, because that place sucks so bad. Like, they need to have recreational weed there, because otherwise, who would want to live there? Like, no.
To be fair to the people in Michigan that listen to us, as a person in between, like an Indiana person, born and raised, Michigan's very, very pretty. Like, you can subtract the people, like the area, the lakes and the different
I'm
trees
sure
and
it
stuff.
looks lovely with all the lead in the water. I'm sure that's just
lead in the water.
So beautiful.
Is that a thing people say
Yeah,
about
I've heard
Michigan
of it.
people?
You haven't heard about Flint, Michigan?
Well,
that's a government failure. That's not. That's
Where people are still afraid to drink the water.
that's a United States problem. That's
yeah.
not a. That's not on
Drink
the people of
bottled
Flint.
water, Flint, Michigan. That's like on the sign now. Welcome to Flint. Drink bottled water.
But isn't that more of us failing as a country than Flint, Michigan failing?
It's all of that thing, but it happened in Michigan.
Well, okay. So if it happened down the street in Ohio, like,
Should we take cases of water and ask the audience, hey, anybody here from Flint? We have some water.
No, you want to get?
Here you go.
That might be a
I
little
was going to
much.
say they will pack you up and ship you home in a
Yeah,
box.
that might not be good.
Live there for 19 years.
That might not be cool.
I lived there for 19 years. Trust me, you will be shipped home in a box pretty darn quick. Yeah, Max,
That's
don't
funny.
worry. So somebody found out I had been up there 19 years and went, damn, we have to get him back home.
That's right. Either way,
I mean, like where we're going is it's just into Michigan. It's not that far into Michigan, so
you're just dipping your toes in.
we're not gonna get like I don't have to wear my hazmat suit or anything like that.
Hazmat suit.
I was going to say, a really nice city that actually has 3 of its own lakes in it is called Waterford, Michigan.
I hope so. If it has 3 lakes in it.
It is fantastic, and my allergies are like almost non-existent when I lived in that city for 4 years. It was
Sweet.
excellent place to live.
I went to the Henry Ford Museum one time in Michigan.
Yeah. How was that?
It's a fun place to go.
It was pretty cool.
I've been there maybe twice. It's cool.
I'd like to go back. It's actually pretty cool. I will say that. But so that's I guess that's 2 things Michigan has. We got recreational marijuana and the Henry Ford.
But their sports suck. Everything about Michigan sports, not great.
Yes, it's terrible.
It used to be good, but that was back in the 90s.
Yeah, not great. I think they would admit that too.
Especially after they just traded for Jared Goff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're just thrilled. They are.
They're living their best life.
Yeah.
Don't worry, everybody. I don't know what a
My
Jared
man
Goff is
Owen.
either.
Jared Goff, it's a human.
My man Owen. This one's for you, Owen, head coach of Michigan. I call him Owen because he's 0-6 or 0-7. Right now.
That's great. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's where that was going.
That was great.
I was like, Harbaugh's first name isn't Owen.
No. His name is just Owen. We're gonna have to legally change it after we beat them this year.
Hey, you might have to.
He's going to be owing the Wolverines a lot of money soon, too. That contract is bad.
Oh, and it works. I love it, George. Thank you for that.
Anytime.
I got to ask you a question about Shang-Chi, Max. And it's not a spoiler because everybody knows it's in there, and I'm not going to ask you details on it. But I heard Shang-Chi redeems the Mandarin. Is that true?
No. They don't redeem because what they did is unforgivable.
Yeah, they tore him apart in Iron Man.
It's not cool what they did at all. They did move away from that. So yes, they move away. There's a whole thing, and they move away from it. But they recognize that they did something wrong, and then they're like, okay, that was a thing. We admit it, and we're moving this way now.
We recognize we did something wrong.
Quick question.
No, redeem. No, I would say not. No, sir. No.
I do have a quick question.
Sorry. Go ahead, George.
Being that this is a new character to me and the fam, is there anything that we should prequel to turn around and understand this character a little bit more?
No, you can just go in. I'm not a huge Shang-Chi guy myself. I've really only read like 1 or 2 books with him in it ever. So I don't feel like you need to have a lot of knowledge base to get in there. This is his origin, and you are.
We're good.
They do it just fine. So you're good. Yeah, you're good to go. Just you don't need to pre-watch anything. Don't ever watch the Iron Man 2 or 3 or whichever one. You don't do that.
It's number 3, I think.
It's unnecessary to watch that movie again.
Okay.
Is Tim Roth in the movie?
No.
Oh, did they
That's
get
the first.
somebody
That's the
else?
second. That's the second, right?
No. In the Shang-Chi, is
Yeah.
Tim Roth?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Is Tim Roth in it?
Yes.
Does
yeah.
Abomination like speak, or did they get somebody else to
Oh.
voice him?
I got you.
Oh, no, is that Abomination and Wong is fighting?
Yeah. Is he more than
Yeah,
just like a cameo, like a little ha-ha?
Yeah, no, it's just that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a little thing. Like, yeah, they have the Fight Club, and you see Wong battling this big monster. I didn't even realize that was Abomination, to be honest. So there's that. But
It's funny in the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. They're like, "Hey, there's Wong going to Shang-Chi." Is that pretty much what happens? He just shows up.
yeah, watch the movie. Okay, just fucking watch the movie. Like, it's really good. I'm
I just
not
wanted to know
explain
Tim
any
Roth
more
if they like
things.
spent big bucks to get
Yeah.
Tim Roth the cameo or not.
No, like, he doesn't speak. He might grunt or something, but I feel like they could have got Fred Tessio to do that.
Not even that. They're probably just like some guy off the street. Like, can you grunt? We just need like 2 good grunts.
They're just
I would like you to grunt.
They go like they're gonna interview the guy and they just punch him in the stomach. He's like, oh,
Like, we got it.
Walk away. Throw $5 at him and walk away. Yeah. No, so watch the movie. It's really, really good, and all the things that you guys want to know, you'll find out.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm going, like I said, tomorrow. I have Emily catching up on the Marvel shows today.
I'm behind on What If, but
I'm one behind.
I've heard good things.
But it's not like a priority.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the What
I've
Ifs yet.
enjoyed every one I've watched, but like, yeah, it's just somehow it's not a priority. I'm waiting on that Star Wars anime to come out.
That's gonna be dope.
Yeah,
The
I
Bad
hope
Batch?
so. Anyway.
no, not Bad Batch. Bad Batch was all right, but
I'm behind a few episodes. I found out.
It's like
the season finale was like 3 weeks ago, bro.
I know. Like I said, I'm a few back. I know.
Listen, Max.
No, Bad Batch was okay. I don't hate it too much. But I'm just
Visions.
like, I don't really like Filoni. I don't really like Filoni-verse stuff, but Bad Batch is all right.
I can't wait to. I had
What
checked
did you say,
out.
Scott?
Visions. Star Wars Visions is what it's called.
Visions. Yes, that's what I'm waiting on. It's gonna be sick as fuck.
Did anybody watch the new Cena film on Hulu
New what? Sorry.
The dude
called Vacation Friends with
Warrior Princess.
Lil Rel? I don't
I
know.
watch anything with the little row in it. I just don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Yeah. What is this?
There's a new movie on Hulu with. Here, I'll pull it up. Pull it up so we can check it out together because I really like Cena doing comedies, and this one looks super funny. I was just wondering if anybody had seen it yet.
You're saying Cena, right? Because I thought you were saying Xena. I was like, that's not her name.
Cena, like Cena Warrior Princess.
Yes, I'm talking about Xena Warrior Princess.
I mean, maybe.
100%.
Would walk up to me and just be like,
F my coffee, I guess.
Are we sponsored by them
I
now?
like to drink.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, that coffee sounds sick.
Just get some ad blocker, Jason.
Oh, there they are.
Ladies and gentlemen, the bride and groom to
I like
be,
Lil Rel.
Emily and Marcus!
what the hell is that?
You son of a bitch! You said we were best friends!
Yeah, it's like, stop. What are you two doing here?
Excuse me, this is a private event. Oh, it's cool. We know the bride and groom. We met these two animals down in Mexico.
Why does the salt not taste salty?
Oh, because it's cocaine.
What?
We actually brought it from home. Very, very easy if you ever want to try it. It's just a Ziploc and a full shampoo bottle.
And it's so much more comfortable than when I had it in my ass.
Okay, look, we just gotta continue. It's only
Oh,
happened.
I'll definitely watch this movie.
It's already
getting
getting a sequel. That's why I was bringing it up.
And somehow he's charming my dad.
Is it out?
Yeah, it's on
There's this one
Hulu.
girl involved.
Oh, well, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Everywhere they go.
I'm a sucker for dumb comedies. I love Homecoming.
Well, it's John Cena.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
But
Cockblockers with Cena was awesome.
Get to know each other intimately. This is the best wedding I've ever been to. Count it.
You hit the bottle this time.
What?
That's awesome.
This is like my worst nightmare. Like
Magic martial arts.
I ate it. You told me to. I didn't say eat it, man. Everything you touch.
Why is he dressed like he's about to go ride a horse? That's awesome.
Yeah, that looks funny. I'm gonna check that out.
Why was that your worst fear, Max? What was your worst fear?
Oh no, it's like I mostly have white friends, but I never have like that guy as a friend. But I'm always worried like when I meet new people, like is this gonna? Are you one of the crazies? Like
we can go hunting, Max. I got plenty of friends. We can go in the backwoods and figure something out.
No, I don't do backwoods. No.
This just jumped the shark.
Yeah, that's funny.
Freaking Get Outed. No, thank you.
Get Outed. Well, that guy was from Get Out too, right? He was the security or the best friend.
Yeah, I think he was the best friend to Get Out. Yep.
He was TSA, wasn't he?
Yeah. I was thinking security guard. But yeah, you got it. Yep.
Hey, he was in Free Guy also as his best friend.
As the best friend. I mean,
he's getting typecast as the best friend. Are you even mad at that? If you get typecast as the best friend?
Look, if you get work, I don't think you're mad.
Yeah.
No, and the people he's best friends with in the movies, like you're working with these people, man. Like,
right. Yeah, I'd be happy to be the best friend in a Ryan Reynolds movie any fucking day of the week. Like, I would happily.
You know, Max, we haven't gotten to talk about Free Guy yet. Just your little cat.
Like I don't want to give it like Zootopia levels of happiness, but it's right up there. Like you feel good at the end of the movie, and it's just a solid fucking summer flick. I was very happy to watch it. With all the hype, I was really worried like this is gonna suck. It's like I thought they just threw a bunch of money at the marketing versus making a decent movie, but it's got like an air of Truman Show to it, and yeah, it does a lot of good things, and there's more range than just Ryan Reynolds being like happy person the whole time. So I dug it.
What do you think of Blue Shirt Dude at the end?
Yeah, catchphrase. It's yeah, that was all right.
It reminded me of the Truman Show meets Zootopia meets the Lego Movie, because this is one of those movies that takes cameos and places them perfectly within the film. Like, there's some cool cameos that obviously were added after Disney bought Fox.
Right. No, yeah, it's good. I'd say like 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5, like somewhere around there. Like it's. I don't feel like you have to see it, but it's like it's definitely worth. You're not mad when you watch it. Like it's just you just feel good. Feel good movie of the summer.
Yeah, it's fun to sit and laugh with other people.
This movie reminded me how Disney owns everything. Like, cause I didn't even think about it, and I'm like, oh wait, yeah, Disney owns this.
The Russo brothers were in negotiations with with Marvel to direct another Marvel film, but they have fallen through because of what happened with Black Widow. What do you guys think of that?
Well, what about Black Widow? Just the fact that it didn't do well?
No, what happened with Scarlett Johansson?
Oh, with the lawsuit?
They screwed her out of the money she rightfully had.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so the Russo brothers are backing out of it, not Disney, because Disney's the one that wrote the contract, right?
They stopped the contracts. Kevin Feige's come out against Disney he's come out on Scarlett Johansson's side. Like, look, man, that's my signature on these contracts, Disney, that you're not upholding. Like, you're making me look like a bad guy.
Yeah.
But also, anyone that didn't think Disney was the villain in this is probably, I don't know, it'd be interesting.
Right. But it's like, if you look at what Netflix did with Dave Chappelle, like, you can have your cake and eat it too. Like, you can be a nice guy and like give everyone and still make a shit ton of money. Like I don't understand how come like people are so dead set against like paying people what they should. You know, it's
Right.
like, okay, I understand. Like your contract says you don't have to do this, but you could just do it, and that would be fine. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't lose any money over it or any sleep. Like I don't understand why it's like so hard to do the right thing or even the nice thing. Like what the fuck?
Mhm.
But I
Like
mean,
even if the contract said like fuck you, pay me in the contract. Like you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that.
and plus, with Disney putting more and more, specifically Marvel content on Disney Plus, you would think they'd want their actors to be excited about this stuff coming to Disney Plus. So you know,
she's dead.
Black
Yeah, I'm thinking it's because they
Dead
can't
fucker.
use her in other stuff in Marvel really because she's dead and they can keep her dead type of deal. That's my thought. Is like she's kind of
Yeah.
she's no longer useful for them in the Marvel world. So
I mean, but it made $60
They
million.
got, they got
Disney.
new blonde Black Widow, and they're fine.
True, but you know, you
Really? No.
No, it's shitty.
I'm sorry.
It's super shitty.
I can't take the Green Arrow reject. Just can't do it.
I liked her.
I still haven't seen it.
Hot take, George.
Meh.
I mean, I'll get around to it. I've watched it feels like I've watched everything else Marvel up until this point, so I can't stop now.
Yeah, eventually you're gonna see it.
All right. So what's the over under? Are you gonna watch Shang-Chi before you watch Black Widow?
I'll definitely probably see Shang-Chi before Black Widow.
The Black Widow, look, you don't learn anything new, and the movie wasn't great. Like they tried to do Captain America: Winter Soldier, kind of, but it didn't work out that way.
Well, and that was my thing. Is like when. Sorry, Max. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But my thing was
No,
is
go
like
ahead.
when their end credit scene ties into one of the TV shows and not one of the main movies, you know you get a problem. You know what I mean? Like that's a feels bad in my opinion.
I don't know if that's true, Justin. I think we're gonna get a lot more of that.
I just don't like it. Like I don't. It's fine. I mean, it's whatever. It's cool, but
I understand. I understand what you're saying. The end.
like, I mean, if
Spoiler
I'm an
alert,
actor and
everybody.
like if my
The
thing
end
leads
of
into
Black Widow sets up Hawkeye season 1.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
I if it works for him, it works for him. I don't know how well it's gonna work for him. That's fine, but we'll find out.
I feel like Black Widow the movie could have been Black Widow season 1.
Yeah,
I mean, she's the perfect
Yes.
James Bond. She could have been James Bonding like this whole time. Like she'd be gonna be great.
Yeah. And it's a shame, and it's a shame how they're treating Scarlett Johansson, and it's a shame how that whole thing went down. And and the timing with COVID and all that stuff, that shit sucks too. Like but like I don't like prequels. This movie is definitely a prequel, so it's already taken a step on the wrong foot. But they should pay Scarlett Johansson. I mean, she does a good job in the movie. Like, it's not like the movie was bad. It's not her fault. There's just some dumb things in that fucking movie that I'm just like, you guys could have written this better. Like, I don't understand why.
And to learn more about those dumb things, come to Monroe Pop Fest, where we will be talking about Taskmaster and everything else in Black Widow.
Oh, I could go on for a long time about Taskmaster. That was a confusing thing they did to that person. But
Save it for the cast, Justin. Save it for the panel.
Yes. Well, he's not going to be on the panel.
I'm not. Well, I'll try to phone in, but I'll be in an airport.
We're working on phoning in.
ET phone home for that type of thing.
Excellent.
I agree, Mike.
Excellent.
I agree. Yeah.
That's why I'm pumped for Dune.
They can watch all of the above. I'm not hearing good buzz about Dune.
Well, I think to Mike's point, though, I think, and I could be wrong, but like it's just in encouraging other films and pieces of art, right, other than the Disney stuff, so that we can get more of it.
The problem with Dune is it's just inherently
Disney
hard
owns
to
everything.
adapt.
I know that's not. I know it's not great. I don't like it.
Well, I mean, like,
creative monopolies don't feel good.
Yeah, Dune, I would say, is sort of like Lord of the Rings, where I mean, like, Lord of the Rings, they did well, or at least the first 1.5, they did really well. And I'll give him the first two, but
News fest.
it's hard with the style of writing. Like the way the book is written, there's a lot of information and it's very very dry. Like the battle scenes, there's like, I see. But the battle scenes are written like, okay, there was a battle. You know, like it's not like going into what happened and all this stuff. So it is very hard to adapt. But I'm way more hopeful about this one than the last Dune movie that we got. So that at least they've done X, Y, and Z right. I can tell right from the trailer.
Yeah.
I like Zendaya, so they got a lot of things going for them. I'm going to remain optimistic about Dune.
I read a trailer today that said you're better off watching the Lynch movie, which doesn't pose well for anybody.
I think it looks really
that's
cool.
Clickbait. That's clickbait.
I agree with you, Scott. I think it looks good. I couldn't get through the trailer of the Lynch movie.
I'm a hater, and I'm already. There's no way. There's no way you're better off watching the Lynch movie. Like
I agree.
I don't care how bad this movie is. You're not better off watching that other one.
You know, I agree with Mike. I think that I don't think you should stop watching Disney movies if you enjoy them, but check out some of the other films that are out there. Because like we just watched the Friends Vacation on Hulu that none of the guys had heard about. That looks fun. Like there's other movies out there. Like I'm a guy who watches everything. I watch the low budget and the big budget. And trust me, people, Justin and I have interviewed a lot of people in the movie industry this year, and there are some really good movies out there. So check them out. The Bob Ross documentary on Netflix is fascinating.
Is that good? I wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
I got through like the first half hour, and then I had to go do something, and I never got back to it. So
I am never buying another Bob Ross IP item again.
I had heard. I don't know anything about the history of it. Go ahead, sorry.
The only thing that's bad about the Bob Ross movie documentary is that like it's the one thing that makes you feel bad about Bob Ross, and like you just kind of don't want to. And it's nothing that Bob Ross did, but like just the whole deal. Like when you're watching the show and you're watching him paint, like you feel good, and he's putting this magic on a canvas for you, and that is a great feeling. And this movie kind of like makes you feel a little bit bad about it, just because like when you learn what happened behind the scenes. And it's that's what kind of sucks because like you like the joy of painting. You don't really want to do anything else.
Yeah, and then to find out that the son isn't even allowed to use his last name on any like product.
Or spoilers. Like,
yeah, it's not great. It stinks. He seemed like a really good dude, and for him to go out like that stinks. Or
He
his
did.
family
Well,
did
really
that.
good dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'm not trying to say he wasn't.
For the first half of it, I'm like, man, it's a shame that he never worked with Mr. Rogers because they have like the same personality. They're so positive.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Like, but like the universe would have ended, you know, like the universe would have imploded on itself. It would have caused like a black hole of awesome, of like good feelings, and like it just like sucked everything up, and the whole world would have ended.
I'm hitting play on the
What a dark way
documentary.
for something so positive to happen.
I'm like,
Well, you can't like too much of anything is bad, right? So like when you have all that positivity focused in one area, it's not good, man. Like you can't do that.
I'm like, don't ruin Bob Ross. Don't ruin Bob Ross. Don't ruin Bob Ross. And it doesn't ruin Bob Ross. It doubles down on what you think Bob Ross is. It's just the people around Bob Ross.
Yeah. It's
And he was only 52 when he died. I did not
Oh,
realize
that's so
that.
young. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
is it because he like smoked a shit ton? He died of cancer, wasn't it?
Cancer.
No, well, they think that it was like the paint thinner because he was breathing in the.
Oh, he's in an enclosed room with all that paint. Yeah, every day, right? That could be.
I mean, it could be both. But I did hear I don't know
Well,
if he
I'm sure
did towards the
smoking
end of
didn't
his
help.
life, but I know he did
Yeah.
smoke a decent amount. Maybe like when he was in the military or whatever.
Right. One thing I found out about Bob Ross is like he liked sports cars. Like he liked to go fast. So, like I didn't put Bob Ross and Ricky Bobby in the same like mindset, but apparently they
I was watching Creepshow after I watched the Bob Ross documentary, and it had Ted Raimi comes on to a talk show, Sam Raimi's brother, and he starts reading from the Necronomicon, and the Evil Dead breaks out, and then in the other room is a guy that looks just like Bob Ross. I mean, it's supposed to be Bob Ross, talks the same way, so it's Bob Ross versus the Evil Dead in this short little 20-minute episode of Creepshow, and it is It's hilarious. It's everything you would think it was and more. It's great.
Beautiful.
So everybody check out Cape Show if you ever want to see Bob Ross
Oh
by
my God,
zombie.
that's awesome.
All right, everybody, we will be back with Phil Better and talking Star Trek.
That talk commercial, take 5. Hey, Jason, have you ever been accused of a crime?
I have not
All
yet,
right,
John.
settle down. You got 20
But if
minutes
I
of
ever
Matt
was,
talk.
there's only one man I would call, and that man is Benjamin Matlock.
You would be right to do that because he's a guy that can certainly clear your name of any accusations that come your way. It doesn't matter, man, if you're accused of, say, I don't know, murdering your ex-husband live on your TV cooking show, or using a pair of scissors to stab your business manager to death, or maybe you sneak into your landlord's office and off him overnight during the Christmas season. Matlock can get you taken care of. And you know what? He's also a dude that is the subject of a pretty cool podcast called Matt Talk, right, Jason?
Yeah, he is. And I'm so glad John just aired out all my dirty laundry. But it's great to know that when I stab my landlord or I, commit any crimes, I can call the one man. And that one man is Benjamin Matlock.
That's right. And you can check out our podcast called Matt Talk every second and fourth Monday of the month. It's available on all of the podcasting platforms, including Anchor. Just go to anchor.fm/Matt Talk. And it's available through the Facebook page. Of course, that is at Matt Talk Podcast. And you could check out every single episode when they drop. And real soon, it'll be available every Saturday at noon through the Scene Snobs channel. Just look
Chewbacca was not from Endor.
The Scene Snobs,
does not make sense.
On Facebook or the scenesnobs.com. Jason, tell them about the email and the Twitter account, please.
You guys can email us anytime at benmattalk@gmail.com. That is benmattalk@gmail.com. One more time, benmattalk@gmail.com. Email me. Let us know what you think of this commercial. Let us know what you think of the episodes. We have some great interviews with Lori Lathine and
Linda Pearl and Scott Valentine and a ton of other great episodes.
Man,
and by the way, check us out on Twitter. We just got on Twitter at MattTalk_.
We've been so busy. I haven't had time
ladies
to
and
record a
gentlemen,
new
check out
one.
an episode. And as they say in court,
haters are going to hate.
Further.
Hi, I'm Casper.
And I'm Becky Gremlin.
And we're the hosts of Don't Fuck With The Original.
They're coming back in October.
Spoopy horror podcast that pretty much covers everything under the genre.
We cover haunted locations, we cover true crime, cryptids, movies, anything you can literally think of. We are all over it.
Everything spoopy.
On Wednesdays, and why?
Wednesdays are for podcasts.
Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Catan. Tonight I'm going to be playing my original song,
Let's mix it up. Guys, everybody go to Samantha Catan's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and vote for her for the contest that she is in, please. She's a good friend of the show.
Crashing down, I hadn't figured much. I hope y'all have a great night. Please go check out the GoFundMe on my Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook stories. And I hope to see y'all soon.
We are back.
Yo.
Oh, all right. With Echo.
What's that?
There was Echo.
I don't know. There's an echo for a half second, but it's gone now, so we're good.
It's cool that we have like songs we can play now. I got like 2 others that I can play, but she's doing that contest right now, and I put the links down below for everybody to vote in the comments. Please go vote for her because I think she's got an extraordinary voice, and more people need to discover her. And I can't wait for you guys to hear more of her music. She posts more on Instagram and stuff, so definitely go check it out. And today we are joined by Mr. Phil Better, who appeared with Max a couple weeks ago on the Funny Science Fiction podcast. Phil, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. How is everybody else doing?
Doing well.
I was slightly scared. I jumped in and you guys are already live, and I'm like, did I miss the time? Like, am I late? And then I was like, no, I'm coming in at 1.
It's cool. We're not mad at you.
Oh, thank God.
Max sounds mad though.
No, that wasn't sarcasm. I'm notebook and pen guy. I'm not sarcasm guy.
Yes, that's a nickname Max is trying to get out there some more. So let's all.
Jenny's trying to push. Yeah.
But I'm not trying to push anything. People generally call me that. Like that's genuinely, not generally.
I just got called a pod god for some reason on one of my shows, and I'm like, no, do not give me that title. That's the last thing I want. I can't live up to that.
And yeah, we've got the pod guy on today, everybody.
The pod god, right?
The pod god.
God.
Yeah.
Feel better.
Omnipotent
Everyone feels
being.
better when the pod god shows up.
So, Phil, before we get into our Star Trek conversation, everybody please check out the Scene Snobs page this week. They got a lot of Star Trek stuff. We're just kicking it off. But what is a podcast mogul, and tell us more about yourself.
Jesus, this is where it gets really confusing because I have no idea.
And how do you feel being pod god Phil Better?
So I'll answer that one question easier first because it's a little easier. Being considered a pod god is really weird because I never thought of myself as anybody in the industry of podcasting. There's like so many better people out there, but people calling me pod god, I was just like, wait, what? No, I don't control podcasts like God. I create them like God. Like every 7 days I create a new podcast. Because I have an unhealthy habit of just like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's do a show on it, and then just fill up my day with podcasts. But how one becomes a podcast mogul, it's just by going out and helping as many people as you can in the podcasting world and just giving them the ideas that they can't think of. Because most podcasts, like I've been in the industry 6 years, 2 years listening, just like consuming massive amounts of podcasts. And then I started my first show, The Phil Better Show, in 2014, I think, or 2015. I don't know. It was like 4 years ago or something. I don't know. Math is bad. As you can see, I'm a podcast mogul, not a math mogul. But I started that show and I was so deep in it, I didn't see how monetization could happen, how growth could happen, because you're just so consumed with like creating a great product, putting it out there and being like, okay, God, I'm done. But then you forget that there's the whole back end, the marketing you have to do, the growth of it and all that. So through that time, I studied. I was like watching John Lee Dumas, Travis Chappell, Tim Ferriss, Joe Rogan, all the guys who are already making somewhat money from podcasting and using podcasting to do it. Then like personal stuff, 2020 happened. And at the end of 2020, I was like, okay, I don't know if we can swear on this. So screw it. I'm going to figure out how I can make money podcasting. So what I did was I was like, let's talk to entrepreneurs. How do you create a business? And the best thing is talking with entrepreneurs, talking with people who have already done it, who have gone through the struggle. So I created the Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur podcast, which was like just me pretty much going, I'm going to find the most richest people I know who are entrepreneurs and made money online and ask them questions about how they did it so I can learn how to do it. So I started doing that, and then that was in November. I started filming, recording. December, it launched. By March, I had my first paying customer that paid me to produce his podcast. I was like, wait, this is how easy it is to get money online? Like, wait a second, this is, I was told that it was hard, it was difficult my whole life, and like within like 3 weeks I had my first client, and then it's just, since then I just gotten more and more clients. I started a new podcast called Invest in Yourself, the podcast series where I help podcasters. I do 15-minute live episodes where I talk with podcasters and be like, hey, this is what's working for these types of people, maybe you should try it, or this is what I did for growth and this is what I did for that. But I also interview podcasters as well and ask them, like, what's working for you? What's not working for you? What's your favorite moment? Because for me, I love talking with people who either are passionate about the same things I am or have a knowledge that I have no idea about. So that's what it was. And like, I've created about a dozen podcasts now that I either host out directly, co-host, or I help, I produce. I have about a dozen clients that I've helped produce their podcast, help them monetize them, coach them through different processes, whatever they want. It's ongoing or monthly or whenever they need. I actually have a webinar, my first webinar later tonight, where I'm doing an hour and a half with another podcaster, and we're discussing like monetization and strategies to grow your podcast. All I have to say is I geek out about podcasts. That's my geekdom.
Sweet.
We were both on the Funny Science Fiction podcast, and I just gotta say it's a pleasure podcasting with you, because you have that that outgoing. You make it easy to podcast with you. So it's good that you're finding ways to make money doing things that you like doing, because I think you found something that you're honestly good at, and that's always the best.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we're going to start this top 5 here. We're going to start with Scott, because Scott likes the least amount of Star Trek out of any of us.
He loves Star Trek. He loves Star Trek.
Are we sure about that?
I don't think he likes Star Trek at all.
Right?
You might like more Star Trek movies than he does, Max.
I don't think so. But all right, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I love teasing Scott. We don't get to do this too often. So, Scott, what's your number 5?
My number 5. So I will say, I was thinking about it. It quickly turned into like one movie on my list and just random episodes. So I kept to movies. If we're gonna do top 5, so my top 5 is Star Trek: The Voyage Home.
Save it. Definitely higher on my list. That's a good one.
I mean, like, I don't know if there are enough Star Trek movies to have the save it moment.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'll 100% spoilers. All of mine are TOS movies. I have no next gen movies on there.
Zero. You seem like a Kirk. You seem like a Kirk.
No, because that's the thing. Next Gen is my favorite Trek series, but I hate the next gen movies mostly.
I think the next gen movies are amazing. They're just so stupid and fun.
You know what? That's fine. But that's mainly my problem, is that they're so stupid.
That's fair. We don't have to save it. Voyage Home is number 2 on my list. So let's talk about it.
That's high.
My list is based on not what I think is the best of the Star Trek movies. It's the ones I'm most likely to replay at my house. And I love the Voyage Home. I love it when they go back to the 80s and Spock wears the little bandana to cover his ears. I love everything about that movie. Save the Whales, 100%.
Oh, it's super watchable. And I think that's why it's high on people's lists. It's a very casual Star Trek movie. Like, you don't really have to be a Star Trek fan to enjoy this one. Like, it's just easy to watch, and it's got like a lot of humor in it. And, the setting was contemporary for the time, so I think that's why it was so easy for people to get into.
George, what's your number 5?
I agree with Scott. This one sits right at 5. At least it's not on my worst movies list. I thought I'd slide that in there now before you did.
George's least favorite Star Trek movie is The Wrath of Khan.
Oh heck no!
Now that
That
would
would
be
be
a hot show.
Generations. Remember? Remember that one was on my list.
I don't even think Generations is the worst. I think 5 is the worst Star Trek movie. But we'll get to that. Phil, what's your number 5?
So I didn't choose any of the movies.
Okay.
The reason being is because each of them, like, I was never a original series guy. I grew up with Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, and I was more of a Voyager fan. So, like, for me, Voyager, 7 out of 9. Let's be honest here. I was a horny teenager. Okay, I was a horny teenager, and actually, that is my 5th episode is the Living Witness in season 4, episode 23, when she shows up. Wait.
When we first see her, here's this magic.
Oh, yeah. When she shows up, I was like, yes, give me more. But I also hate it because she then became the focal point of the show, which I understand they like sex sells. And it was a very, like, at that time, it was like, we need something to keep this franchise going, so we're going to go with sex. And, like, I kind of got pissed off because I also like Kim. Ensign Kim was a fun character, and he kind of got relegated to the back. And, you know, Tom was fun, but he was like only once in a while, you know, and it was like, it's always Captain Janeway and, you know, Chakotay and 7 of 9. And that's all the episodes were that. And it's like, no, like, original series, you got to know a bit more of the crew, you know, like, not most of the crew, but there was more than just like 3 players. Deep Space Nine, you had a whole space station, so you got all that fun stuff to learn about everybody, and they were able to balance it correctly. Whereas I feel like Voyager, once 7 of 9 came on, it kind of like focused too directly on her and not enough on the auxiliator characters.
I would agree with that. I feel like Kim got shafted, especially like they like randomly killed him and then brought him back with an exact duplicate. It was like a really weird like way to like have some kind of development.
They didn't give him the pencil mustache or nothing, like even just to be like, it's not exactly him.
It is exactly him though. That's the thing. Like he has like all the same memories, everything. So it's like, why even kill him if you're just gonna?
Yeah, they tied it back to a previous episode.
Some would say it was a precursor to what happened with Picard in the latest show. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's back. He's the exact same.
Wait, what? Did I miss something on the latest Picard episode?
Oh, spoilers.
Wait, the 2nd season hasn't come out yet, has it?
No, don't you remember in the very end of season 1, they kill him, and then they're like, "Well, here's this robot body." And we made it so that it's just like your normal body. Okay. See, you don't even remember it because it's such a pointless arc.
Like, why would you wanna come back in, like, if I'm an 80-year-old dude?
Yeah, I'm coming back in my
body that works like an 80-year-old dude. I would be pissed. I'm like, what the fuck? No. Yeah, you give me a better body. This is bullshit.
Yeah. No, they even made a point. He's like, oh, thank goodness.
80-year-old body.
Thank goodness I'm still in my normal body, and this android body will decay and die at around the same rate as my previous body. Thank goodness.
Why do we be thankful for that?
Because I mean, I'm all for that if it's because like Kirk had like a thing where his like immortality is born. Like I don't want to live forever, and Picard would probably be similar, I assume, unless he would just be like, yeah, give me that robot body so I can go be an archaeologist forever because he's all about ancient relics and stuff.
I mean, like live forever. I don't know about, but like, you know, give me another solid 60 years. You know, like put me back in my 20-year-old body and let me stay looking 20 years old, even though I'm 80. Like that's how I want to.
I am in full agreement with Max on that one.
All right, well, let's get back to the list before this devolves into me just shitting on the car.
I just enjoyed the tangent. This is great.
I was definitely not going to like my top 1 episode. Oh, shit.
I would be so mad. I'd be like, put me back to sleep. I'm going back to sleep. Y'all figure this shit out and then wake me up when I'm back in my 20-year-old body. Because fuck all of y'all.
It's like the Futurama head jars.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll deal with that for a few weeks while you work out the fucking numbers.
It's this next one's gonna be fascinating because I don't think I've ever heard Justin talk about Star Trek. Justin, what is
I'm
your
not a big
five?
Star Trek guy, so forgive me for major Star Trek fans, because I'm like living in the J.J. Abrams universe more than anything else, because I don't do a lot of it. So I was going to pick the original Star Trek, right? Not original, but the original Star Trek movie from J.J. Abrams.
2009.
Yeah. But yeah, I just enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was fun. But yeah, I'm not deep into Star Trek, but I love all the passion that's being talked about here. So
nice.
I have that as my number 4. Is the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie.
Sure.
It was an enjoyable movie. I'm not a Star Trek fan either, and it just kind of worked, and and I enjoyed it. Yeah, so like I agree.
I'll let you guys know where it is later on my list.
we put it number 1.
All right.
So wait, what's your number 5 then, Max?
Wrath of Khan.
You put Wrath of Khan below Abrams verse?
Yeah, that's gonna be like my. I have that on my list much higher.
Big yikes!
God.
Wrath of Khan. It's good, but it's like old Star Trek. So.
Spoiler alert! I did the same thing Max did, but again, I'm not going to tell you where it ranks on my list.
I don't have it high on my list because I find it hard to watch. I think it's solid, but of the older Star Trek movies, I find this one the most watchable. So that's why I made the list.
This is why I don't get on this podcast much anymore. I get subjected to shit like this.
But I'm not a Star Trek fan. I am not a Star Trek
funny.
fan. I have not watched. I'm not being 100% honest with you guys right now. I have never watched one full episode of the original series. I've only watched a few episodes of Next Generation. I've never watched any of the 7 other shows that Phil listed off. I've never watched.
You've seen Lower Decks, right?
Huh?
You've seen Lower Decks, right? Which I love.
I saw 2 episodes of Lower Decks. Actually, 1 episode of Lower Decks. I meant to watch a second one and then never did. So, that's how much of a Star Trek fan I am.
Max and I are the exact same with Lower Decks.
Didn't we call it Star Trek Upper Decker? Yeah.
My number 5 is Star Trek Beyond.
That's my number 4. That's my number 3.
Yeah, that's 3rd.
Yeah.
I never actually saw that one. I stopped after
didn't enjoy
The
it.
Darkness.
I did enjoy it.
That was my number 2. You didn't enjoy it?
I didn't know it. Like, I get Justin Lin, and I love him in the Fast and the Furious franchise, but my Star Trek is not a Fast and the Furious movie. And this just felt like a Fast and the Furious movie.
See, I didn't get that at all. It felt more like the original series to me.
No. Like,
the guys going off and doing their own thing. I like that.
So I actually heard this one was the best of the 3 if you were more of a TOS fan.
Right.
Yeah, see, like that's that. Yeah, I liked Beyond out of all the Abrams movies. I liked Beyond the best. I liked the banter with the Doctor and Spock. I liked them together. I thought that was a really good pairing, and they had a lot of good chemistry. The chick I could have done without wholeheartedly, and I don't know what J.J. Abrams' obsession with Beastie Boys is, but he needs to stop. But other than that, I really thought it was an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, I don't. Is he friends with them, or is he just have they never acknowledged him, and he's just trying?
He's just really pushing for it to hang out with them,
and he's just throwing because he's got references to them in every single movie he's ever made. I'm pretty sure,
except for
he
doesn't reference the Beast.
They probably put it in his contract.
In which one, Jason?
Contract, Disney.
You keep saying it super quiet. What is it?
I said it's not in the Star Wars movies.
Yes, there is. There's an alien that's its name, its species name is a Beastie Boys reference.
Oh,
of course.
So yes, shush.
He needs to stop. I can agree 100% with the Beastie Boys. Just hey man, they're not your friends. They're not ever going to be your friends. Just
maybe they are. That's the thing. I don't know. Maybe they hang out,
or maybe they have. I don't know. I hope that they're not. You know, like out of just me personally, because I'm a terrible person. I just hope that they're not his friends and they shun him at every opportunity, and he's just like really trying to be part of the band. He's like, I can rap, guys. Like, just let me in.
Mike
I also
D
agree
loves
with that.
Mike D loves that JJ references the Beastie Boys. I googled it.
But he doesn't love JJ. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, as long as
He's like, just keep giving me that free publicity in these movies
Right,
that
like,
millions
all
of
day and
people
night.
watch all day. But we're not going to chill after.
Do you imagine the royalties of a Beastie Boys song in a Star Wars movie? Like, that's gonna be played forever. Like, he's like, yeah, come on. Let's
No,
go.
at that point, Disney just goes, look, here's $1 billion. We're buying this song.
That's fair.
And
That's
then
fair.
Beastie Boys are like,
Okay.
we would have took $1 million, but okay, $1 billion. Yeah, sure, fine, no problem.
Just Mickey Mouse hanging out with a pile of cash.
I got Mickey back here. He's a little happy, but did anybody catch that?
I just now did. Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, Scott, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is The Search for Spock.
I love that movie. It's not on my list, but I love that movie.
I think it's just a very interesting continuation of Wrath of Khan. It's not like the greatest movie, but there's like lots of really cool stuff in it. Like I love the whole stealing the Enterprise, and I love like Scotty sabotaging the Excelsior and stuff like that. So
I'd have to sit down and really think of it, but I think the Star Trek 2, 3, and 4 is one of my favorite trilogies. Probably top 3.
it's a very interesting little arc because it's like one storyline. So yeah, I agree. There's lots to love just in that arc, but yeah, I like the whole running the ship with the skeleton crew and just going and doing all this stuff on Genesis. I love outsmarting the Klingons by having them beam over and then just blowing up the Enterprise. Like that's always fun. So
Can you imagine the insurance rates on a spaceship?
Oh, God. Look, I'm looking to build one, and already it's like friggin' ridiculous. Just the FFA rules and regulations. Jesus.
Yeah.
So much.
Well, it was all beat up anyway, so it was probably going to cost more to fix it than just to replace it anyway. So.
Just spots like, is it totaled? Like, tell me the truth.
Hi, this is Geico, your spaceships and insurance.
So it wouldn't cost anything because Starfleet doesn't use money anymore.
You got Flo on the other end.
I want to be the insurance adjuster who's like, no, just total it. Like,
I would watch a movie on a space like insurance adjustment guy. Like he blew up a third planet. My God.
And then we gotta make sure it was him, and you gotta make sure that he's actually on disability.
It's just 2 hours of someone like in a space like ship, like just with binoculars, like, oh, he left his house.
Yeah. Oh, I knew he got robot legs. I knew it.
And we were talking about Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
and he's the Klingon commander in this one. So,
yeah,
another nice little. We've come full circle in our little discussion.
Yes, we have.
And I lied. I forgot I made a change before we went live, and Search for Spock is my number 4 too.
He just made another change right now. Unlike the notebook and pen guy, once you write it in notebook,
once you write it in pen, it's there forever.
Yeah.
Yep.
You kept going back and forth between TVs and movies, so I slapped in a couple TVs myself. And here at 4, I've got going old school Trouble with Tribbles.
Nice.
That was my number 4 too.
Hey,
such a fun episode. So stupid, but so much fun.
Yes, exactly, and that's what made it very interesting. It's like, what the blue hell is that? It's like it's just a, you can see it's like, oh, in costume design, it's like, hey, we need an alien that looks like a little thing that can just fit into small spaces, and what can you come up with? And they're going, dust mop.
Yeah, pretty much. Someone was like, we have the Dustio Mighty-O Us creature. We're calling it a tribble. Okay. Call it what you want. But yeah, I love this, and I like how they referenced it in the second Abrams movie. which was pretty much a Wrath of Khan remake. So I like how they were like still playing homage to the TOS in this. And it's such a fun episode, and I love how Deep Space Nine actually revisited the episode as well.
Trials
So
and
it's kind of-
Tribulations is a fantastic just work of.
That's my numero uno.
Oh shit,
that's my uno. Yeah,
It's not a bad pick.
I am a huge DS9 aholic, and that one is. It's like I will not leave the house, and I will finish watching that episode before I have to go. Just because I
feel like we now know how to make them relate to anything. Just call a local TV station. Go, yeah, play Trouble with Tribbles. Thank you.
It is like that is my that's my number one ordeal. Is I loved that episode when it aired, and I've just been a fan. Thank God that streaming service. It's like I can watch it whenever I want now, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, way to spoil your list, George.
Sorry. Yeah. Well,
it was Scott brought it up.
What's leaving Netflix? Aren't a bunch of Star Trek shows leaving Netflix? I think everything but
the new movies are.
No, I think it's everything except TNG and DS9 because they have TOS and Voyager and Enterprise on there.
Yeah,
I think those are all just staying on Paramount Plus, and they're pulling them from Netflix.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, September 30th I saw was the end date.
That's okay. I got Amazon Prime, and Paramount Plus is part of that, so I'm good.
Is that?
I hope. I'm in Canada. We have weird shit, so we don't even have Hulu.
That is weird.
I don't have Hulu at all.
I don't think we do. I think we have to use a VPN to get Hulu, which I don't really mind. I use NordVPN, which sponsors the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Gotta work that shit in.
Oh, yeah.
Mobile thinking people.
Smooth as butter. Oh my goodness.
Podcast God.
There we go.
That's right.
I have Paramount Plus, so I can watch Discovery because I love that show.
Discovery is a really good one. I actually have an episode on my list.
Is it just me? I think Discovery gets better. Like the first season was okay, but I think the last season was the best one so far.
I like the fact that they're now not playing in the past because everybody's like, we've done the past to fucking death. Again, sorry for swearing. Now we're like years in the future. Now we're rebuilding the Federation, which makes it a lot more fun because it's now like, okay, let's see what our actual future was like. Because like in the past, when the TOS and Next Gen came out, it was what we hope the future will be like. And then we realized, yeah, no, we're not getting there. We're going to have to start from scratch. Let's show everybody how we build the Federation properly. Because we never knew how they built the Federation. So now we get to see a kind of a rebuild.
Yeah, I'm glad they got away from the prequel as well. But Justin, what was your number 4?
I know it's not a good movie, but comparatively to other Star Trek stuff, but I liked Into the Darkness, or Into Darkness, whatever. I liked...
Yes, me and Justin, right on the same
there.
page.
I did. I mean, it's not. I know it's not great in terms of Star Trek movies and stuff, and the Star Trek heads won't like it. But
it was actually my favorite Star Trek movie.
Was it?
Yeah, I love, like, even though everybody was like, it's Khan, and like Abrams like, no, it's not. And Cumberbatch is like, I'm not playing Khan. Even though he's talking exactly like Khan. I kind of like how they tried to throw you off, but every fan was like, nah, man, like, you can't fuck with us. Like, we know this shit. And then when you just get it and you see how it like changes and how they did those nice little changes, which really create the difference between the two timelines,
right? Yeah.
But also it allows them to be more free now. Now they have, the legend, like Marvel has done, Disney has done with Marvel. You have the legends, and then you have the actual concrete. They're not pushing away the original. Like, this is the original timeline, yes, but we're not going to be playing with this new timeline where we're allowed to reinvent stuff and make it fun for the next generation of Star Trek fans, which I think is like, yes. And plus, with Disney now doing the multiverse, people are now getting used to these ideas that there could be multiple timelines and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. Words out of my mouth. That's
the
great.
only reason Into Darkness isn't on my list is because I didn't want to put every JJ movie on my top 5 because I can only make Scott's head explode so many times that I'm comfortable with.
No, I've accepted it at this point.
Scott is numb to this now. Like, It doesn't
He's
even
taking his
get-
Abram pills.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't like about Into Darkness is when like he reveals that he's Khan. He says his name like you're supposed to know who the fuck that is, and I was like, nope, nobody knows who you are. Like, why are you saying your name like that?
No, Max. The audience understands.
Yeah, it was strictly for the audience. It was not no one else.
Because
Yeah,
that's
but,
what Star
like, if
Trek
you're in
needs.
a room-
Fourth wall wing.
If you're in the room with this dude and he
Angry
says his name
Scott's
like that,
faces.
like, why would he say his name like that?
One, because he's a narcissistic egomaniac. Look,
Okay.
I'm the exact same way. I walk into a room and go, "Hi, everybody. I'm Phil Better," expecting everybody to know I'm a podcast mogul, but I'm only a podcast mogul on the internet.
Okay.
In real life, I'm not. Everybody's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
So here's the thing. They should know who he is in universe because of the eugenics wars. So if he said it like that, I'd be fine with it. But the fact that they don't know who he is and they have to call Spock Prime, and then he's like, oh yeah, he's dangerous because of Wrath of Khan, rather than them being like, oh yeah, we know who this guy is because he controlled most of Earth for like 30 years. Like,
But at
the
the
fact
same
that
time,
they didn't know that. Like,
they could have wiped that from the history books.
But that no, because that all happened pre-timeline split. Like the Botany Bay took off from Earth like long before Kirk was born. So the fact
Listen, there's a lot of shit in history that we don't even remember. Then all of a sudden it's brought up, and we're like, wait, what? There was a slave that stole a Confederate flagship? Holy shit! Like I didn't learn that in high school. Did you?
But I'm saying you know who Genghis Khan is because he controlled a huge part.
Yeah, but in like 30 to 40 years,
it'd be like
kids won't know.
if you erase Napoleon from history, like
Yeah.
that's like the equivalent.
Hold on. Napoleon.
You can't do that.
Napoleon was somebody other than the guy in Bill and Ted. I had no idea.
Right?
Yeah,
There
yeah,
are
the guy
people
in
who
Bill and
won't
Ted was-
remember things.
I'm just kidding. I love his ice cream.
Yeah,
But I'm
it's still, like, it's still big though. Yeah,
It's
no,
Neapolitan, bro.
As a Frenchman, I'm insulted, but as a comedian, I appreciate the joke.
Max, what's your number
Oh,
three?
yeah, that was
Four.
me.
Four.
No, and 4 is Into Darkness. Yeah,
Okay.
I was just saying, like,
So
the
now it's
only
your
thing I
4.
didn't like was that he said his name like super dramatic, and there's this whole thing, and it's like nobody knows who the fuck this dude is.
I liked Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan. That's like,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he really sold that role for me with that piece at least.
Oh yeah, Kirk dying and coming back like right away kind of sucked. I didn't.
Yeah, I would have loved
Like,
for them to kind of done like a search for Kirk type, like a reverse on a search for Spock, but a search for Kirk, like a nice trilogy like they did that or with the original. But then everybody would have been like, "You're only rehashing the originals."
Yeah, for sure. That would have got so much hate. But if he could have just like been dead for this one, you know, and they bring him back at the beginning of the next one, like I would have been more okay with that. Like, you know, let that punch land. You know, like let
us have some emotional like connection to it.
Yeah, he should be in Carbonite for at least half a movie.
Well, the main reason it was a cliffhanger in the originals was because Leonard Nimoy wasn't sure if he was going to come back or not. So they really had to leave it that way because they weren't sure if he was coming back or not.
Right.
I love providing like a bad take, and like Scott just like and people that actually know Star Trek are like, here's a bunch of fun facts about that.
Yeah, we give our bullshit opinion. And he's like, "Yeah, you guys are completely fucking wrong. This is actually true.
This is what happened."
It's an interesting cliffhanger because like he could have stayed dead, but like Chris Pine already had a contract for 3 movies, so they're like, "Oh, he's dead. We know he's coming back." So
we have you on paper.
Yeah,
we own your soul.
He's a reverse Yamcha.
Yeah.
My number 4 was Search for Spock. So Scott, what's your number 3?
Ooh, my number 3 is. I gotta make sure I'm saying these right.
Ooh.
I don't want to mess up my order. Undiscovered Country is my number 3. The final original Star Trek movie.
Nice. I haven't seen that one in a long time. I need to. I keep watching them. I go start from the beginning. I go through, and then I just can't get through 5, and then it stops my like marathoning.
I know that feeling. There's
Like,
always
I-
one movie that you have to power through, or one episode you have to power through to do your binge, and you're like, "This is the worst. Can I do it? Can I do it?" And especially when it's like a 2-hour movie, you're like, "Oh, I could be doing so much more things with my life."
I still haven't gotten to Kirk meeting God.
5 isn't that bad, but I agree it's the weakest of the originals. But I like Undiscovered Country a lot. It's a very good like ending for that crew.
Yeah, and it brings back the team from Wrath of Khan too, the writer and director.
Yeah, and I like I love the Shakespeare quoting Klingon. That's definitely a lot of fun.
I think that kind of started people going, "Wait, we can make Shakespeare Klingon," and then you get all the Shakespearean Klingon books.
Yeah, I think I feel like they lean a little too heavily into it, but I guess it's at least acknowledging that like the Klingon saying was like originally a Shakespearean saying.
Yeah.
The revenge.
Revenge is best served with blood.
I want to see Romeo and Juliet, the Klingon movie. I feel like that would be
Look,
better.
I can guarantee you. Well, the script is already written because someone has already translated the book into Klingon. So all you need to do now is cast and hope you can have people who can speak Klingon.
Oh yeah, it would have to be all in Klingon with subtitles.
Yeah, you can do it. Like, look, Shakespeare's
Like an artsy foreign film. It's all
Yeah,
like black and white.
You have to do it in black and white.
Yes.
No, vivid color.
But the battles would be epic.
Oh yeah, I'm liking this. I think we just spun on a movie. When I get enough money, I'm gonna make that into a movie for you guys.
George's number 3 because he had the jet was Beyond, which we've discussed at length. So Phil, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Through the Valley of Shadows from Discovery. So it's the one where it's the season 2 finale of Chris Pike at the he's at Boreth in search of the crystal that can help them find the Red Angel, and he gets stuck in a moral conundrum like most great Star Trek captains. Like, if he grabs this crystal, he'll find out and solidify how he will die, but if his fate, or if he doesn't, he has a chance to get out of the fate. So I like that conundrum that he's faced. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but like, I just really enjoy the different styles of the show, like how it's a bit of the Abram universe in the Flash, and like the colorfulness and using technology to its advantage, but also it's harking back to the original series with those like moral questions, like, would you sacrifice your life for someone else? Would you be willing to, solidify your fate and know that you will die and there's nothing you can do about it? Or do you want to, fuck the rest and just free your own life? So I like them putting in that moral questionable situation. Also, the actor who plays Pike is a fucking badass actor. Again, me with the swearing. I apologize. Are we allowed to swear? Can someone tell me?
Of course you can. Yeah, Max says Max curses all the time.
I swear all the time. Like,
Max
I
is a
usually
snare.
ask before the show goes live, but I jumped in the middle of a live show, so I was like,
but
we're gonna just wing it and see if I get yelled at. And so far, 2 have dropped, and no one's yelled at me. So
you're good.
You've now apologized twice for swearing, and nobody called for you to apologize.
It's the Canadian in me. Look, we apologize.
Gonna need you to apologize more.
I bump into a wall and I apologize to the wall. Okay, that's how programmed I am. There is a law in Canada that says when you get into a car accident, saying sorry is not an admission of guilt. Okay, it is a federal law.
Did you know, Phil, that the guy who plays Pike is coming back in Star Trek Strange New Worlds? They're doing a show based on his tenure.
Yes, I love it. I love how Discovery is now, because they've made it more action-packed, because that's what today's kids want, is this action-packed. They don't like the storytelling that the older generation of Star Trek has.
I don't like to think, or
yeah, pretty much. It's thinking is a little difficult. Look, if I could watch something and not think, like, how happy would you be? Like, come on, let's be honest. Be entertained and not think. But I like how you have this great crew, and you get a bit. They can still stay in the past and see the world of Pike in the new, like the split generation, the split timeline, because we know this is going to be part of probably the Abrams timeline. because of the flashiness, because it doesn't fit into the original series.
Because that's where the things blow up.
Yeah, original series, they don't, big blowy explosions don't happen, whereas in Abrams it's like every 2 seconds someone lights a match and a planet blows up or a starship blows up.
Yeah,
that's
sabotage.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh look, I have a match. No, don't light the match. Blowy.
I mean,
how the
you have
hell?
to admit, explosions and sabotage go pretty well together.
Yes, but
What's the
generally that's how they
sabotage?
work. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a Christopher Pike version in this more robust universe that we're getting, and also see where they're going with Discovery now that they're not beholden to any timeline, because now they're like, anything we do, it will affect the original. So they were like stepping over here and over there, trying not to do anything that would piss off the original fans, but also keep the new fans entertained. And with the jumping to the forward in time, I think they're doing an amazing job. And now that technology kind of like fits in that time zone, because like OTS, you're like, how did they have the spinny thingy? That's not possible. They didn't have that in the original series. And so everybody was getting mad. So throwing it into the future is a smart play.
I agree with you with Pine and the guy who plays Spock in the new series, but the first 2.5 seasons of Discovery were like, hey, we need to make a Star Trek show. Let's do it. And they didn't really know what they were going to make this show be. And then finally in seasons 3 and 4, we know what the show is going to be. So yeah, I agree. But Justin, what is your number 3?
So Jason gave us the caveat that Galaxy Quest could be on our list, and this is where I'm placing Galaxy Quest.
I didn't know that.
Because I'm putting Galaxy Quest on the list too. Because I love Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest is a fantastic movie.
I did research on all of the internet, like not all, but a lot of the internet Star Trek tops. Galaxy Quest is fitted in there because they found a way to make it work, which it kind of does as a Star Trek movie. But
it is the most authentic Star Trek movie there is, bar none.
I mean, Galaxy Quest is what if William Shatner got to be on the actual Enterprise? Like that's what Galaxy Quest is.
Yeah,
it's like I love it because it does play on like what Star Trek meant to the fans, but also it's like a Star Trek movie like in space. You know, like they go from
a real life Star Trek movie. It's a real life Star Trek movie.
Yeah, to like the actual like fighting Klingons in space. But I love Galaxy Quest. I mean, Alan Rickman is my favorite in that movie. I even like Justin Long's character. Like they're calling up this nerdy kid, like who's just memorized the entire freaking.
It just felt so authentic to me. Like this seems right.
Yeah.
It was 100% the most authentic Star Trek movie, because you know for a fact that all of us would be Justin Long. Okay, we're all Justin Long in this instance, like bar none. Like I'm probably the least Star Trek fan here, but I would be geeking out. No, I swear, like I barely know anything about Star Trek.
You know more than me. But
that's why. Keep going. Sorry, not to pivot off your conversation.
But that's splitting hairs. Yeah.
Well, but I'm pretty sure if you got the chance to help out the Star Trek Enterprise, you'd be like, hell, fucking yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, like, just because even if nobody else knows you did it, like, just to be like validated in that moment, it would be so perfect.
I was playing Call of Duty with my boys last night, and one of them had deleted it. So he was like, "Fuck, what am I gonna do?" So we screen shared. Like you can do that on the PS4. And so he's watching it, and then all the crazy shit that I saw from my point of view, and I would say, and a guy's like, "That didn't happen." I now had a witness watching it. So being able to be like, I have one person. There's one person in the universe that knows that I helped save the galaxy, and it was the crew of the Enterprise or any of the starships. I'd be like, yes, like this is my one caveat. Get me on the. I want to be on the start. Like put me on the deck. Like I want to be on the captain's deck. I don't need to sit in the chair. My one goal in life is to be able to stand on a starship and be like, holy fuck, and then be like, I can die. Like they can beam me out into the void for all I care. I will have died happy standing on the on a starship. Like, you know.
Set a course.
Set a course. You're not the captain. Come on, please.
Just this one time.
Make it so.
It can be the McDonald's. Let's figure this shit out.
Send me to McDonald's. I don't care.
I got to do the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas like the year before it closed, and they like take you like get to walk behind the tactical station on the D bridge. It's a lot smaller
cool?
than it was in the show, but it was still pretty cool. You got to do a transporter, so
That's awesome.
it was a fun little experience. Like it definitely was pretty corny. Like they had like Jonathan Frakes because I was like the only guy who like would do it or whatever. So he like came and like recorded some lines. I think they had like LeVar Burton do like a couple lines too. Those are like the only like actual cast members who like had the
that
time
makes
to
it
do
better.
anything.
That's great.
I got to say, Jonathan Frakes is the standout on Lower Decks, especially second season. I love Jonathan Frakes.
I'm gonna get back to it.
Huh?
Lower Decks has made season 2.
Yeah,
But even like they're it is one of the most popular shows in the Star Trek world, I think, because it's like it's the
blown away.
because you get to see what's going on. Because don't you wonder like what like yes, okay, we know what's going on the bridge all the freaking time, but what about all those other people that just seem to run around the corridors that you never see again? You're like, who was that? Was that the janitor? Do they have a janitor? Like, so I like.
Yeah, it's called Ensigns of Command. They had it in TNG.
Oh, the hate's real. I love it.
Actually,
this is also why I don't usually hang around with Star Trek
I'm gonna
fans.
give Lower Decks another shot.
Yeah, I have friends outside.
I liked the first episode. Sorry, go ahead, Justin.
No, I just say I've met other people that seem to really like it too. So this is, but I value your all opinion too because you guys were like, this was terrible. So like, all right, it's bad.
I liked the first episode. I really did mean to like keep watching it, and then I was like, yeah,
There's
like,
too much
My
TV.
brain was like, it's Star Trek. You don't like that, and I just never thought about it again.
I gave the first episode, I think, a negative review, but
You did.
I absolutely love the show now. Like, I watched it with my son, who really likes it, and the more the show, it's one of those shows that just it gets funnier as it finds itself. And like I said, Jonathan Frakes towards the end and at the beginning of season 2 is fantastic. But Max, what's your 3?
Number 3 goes to Star Trek, like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie. But we already talked.
Fair
about
enough.
I'm not sure.
Nice. My number 3 is Wrath of Khan.
Oh, that's much higher on my list. That's my number 1 because I quote that Khan thing to literally anyone, and I'm not big of a Star Trek guy, but I'm like Khan. I say that a lot. So that's my number 1.
I love Wrath of Khan. I think the movie is fantastic. It's just, if I'm honest with myself, I watch my number 1 and 2 more, just because they're a lot more fun, in my opinion, to watch. Wrath of Khan's kind of sad.
True.
Cool.
Scott, what's your number 2? What is the right number 2, Scott?
Oh, yeah.
The proper number 2 is Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
It's like Conor McGregor.
Yeah, this one I understand why, like, especially like even Star Trek fans have trouble watching this one sometimes. It's definitely a very hard sci-fi slow burn. Not really any like action in it. Like there's not really like any like ship battles or anything like that. It's definitely a very cerebral.
It's very heady
thinking
movie.
man movie.
Yeah. So
I heard that one of the director's notes were to try to make 2001, and it kind of feels like that a little bit with how it slowly gets to the crescendo.
Well, and plus they just had like a bunch of leftover stuff from the scrapped season 4 of the original series. So I know production was kind of a nightmare. And yeah, like 2001 had come and made pretty big waves in the science fiction genre. So they were definitely trying to do something similar.
Yeah.
But I think it all comes together really well, and I really enjoy a lot of it, especially like the design of like the V'ger ship. Like it's just so weird and like alien looking, and like for the time the effects are still like they still hold up pretty well. I think not all of them, but like a lot of them still hold up pretty well.
What's the conflict in the motion picture? I don't know if I've ever even seen it.
So there's this this giant spaceship called V'ger. Well, I don't think the ship is called V'ger. Basically, the Voyager 2 probe like ran into this, like the actual Voyager 2 probe ran into this super advanced civilization, and they thought it was like they were like a race of like machines, basically. And some people think, oh, it's like kind of like the Borg, but they're like completely machines. So they find Voyager 2, and they're like, oh, it's a life form like us from somewhere else, but it's just a probe. So they interface with it, and they find out about humans, and basically they see organic life as like a threat. So V'ger's coming to wipe out pretty much all organic life, and it's hijinks ensue.
Crazy hijinks ensue.
I would be down for a Star Trek movie that was more just like, it's very hard to travel in the unknown of fucking like the expansive space. Like, I feel like they could really pull that off. So I've never actually seen them, so I was just wondering if it was like, hey, it's like not actually easy to be a person traveling through space. Because like Sunshine could easily be a Star Trek movie, or anything like that. Like, yeah. So I guess they haven't made it yet. They should. I think they should try that.
There's a little bit of that. Like, there's some stuff at the beginning where like a transporter malfunctions and kills a couple people, and so there's like a little bit of like that kind of space horror, and especially like the big unknown. Like, they've got this, you think the Enterprise is big, and this ship is like huge compared to the Enterprise. Like, they fly inside it with no problem.
That's no moon.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I didn't know if we'd be able to do a whole hour on Star Trek top 5, but we're actually probably going to go over. So everybody enjoy that. George's number 2 was First Contact.
Okay. Easily the best of the next gen movies. Not a high bar.
I'll agree with Scott that it is probably the best, like written and directed and all that. But the best next gen is the one with the Rom. I can't remember. Is it Insurrection? I think it is. It's with the Romulans.
That's Nemesis. That was the last one.
Yeah, Nemesis. I'm sorry, Nemesis.
Killed Data.
Yeah, and you had Tom Hardy in it.
Tom Hardy as cloned Jean-Luc.
Yes, that. I'm sorry. It's out of all the
That's what I'm talking about.
The next generation movies, that I think is the best one because it's just so fucking fun. It's so fun to watch.
If I die and I wake up and I'm Tom Hardy, that's a good day. Like, you don't want to die and then wake up and still be 80 years old.
Hey, if I die and I wake up, I'm Betty White. I'm happy, okay? Because like Betty White is a god.
Yeah, but not. He didn't wake up as Betty White though. I mean, like, and Sir Patrick Stewart is cool, but like, I mean, obviously, if you could choose to be Betty White, you would. But that again,
Tom Hardy is the very close second.
You can't have two Betty Whites on the same planet at the same time. Like, that will cause
too much awesome.
A rift
That's
in the
way
universe.
too much awesome.
Cause the polar axes to flip,
which they're already doing. It's going to just create a time paradox that we don't want to deal with. Like, there's probably police outside my place just waiting for me to walk out, going, I swear.
We heard what you talked about.
You're under arrest.
Phil, was that your number 2?
No, my number 2 is actually because I didn't choose any movies because I wanted to go series based. The Drumhead from Next Generation. It's where Picard needs to. It's a courtroom scene. It's like a courtroom where Picard needs to protect. Where is it?
He's an ensign. He's
an ensign, like
Vulcan, but he's actually half Romulan.
He's like 1/4 Romulan, and everybody's going against him, and it's that, and Picard has to like pretty much go, "You guys are fucking idiots." And it kind of like, for me, it kind of like it's especially after the 4 last years with everybody with like Corona and everything, everybody going like, "You're the evil person," and like going after, and like you have Jean-Luc coming in being the calm, cool, collected person going, the fuck is wrong with you?
It's very much like the Salem witch trials.
Yeah. And I just loved it because you have this like logical person just trying to destroy, similar to what has happened in the past 4 years, trying to use logic against emotion. And so I just love how logic ended up winning because Picard is awesome.
Yeah, it's a super solid episode. It's definitely probably in my top 5 next gen episodes. So first pick, I've agreed with you on, Phil.
I feel honored. I'll take this statue of Scott's approval.
I like
Jason's never got it, Phil. So I mean, feel good about that.
Oh, I'm fucking milking it until the cows come home.
That's not true. Scott and I, we agree on Cobra Kai. We have a few.
What about Star Trek?
No, but Star Trek.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do agree about something. Justin, what is your number 2?
My number 2, I guess I'm pivoting away from Star Trek because I thought about it while I was talking about Galaxy Quest.
Pivot?
What?
Pivot?
I was thinking, do you guys consider Trekkies to be a Star Trek movie? Because I loved watching a bunch of nerds just getting followed around the cameras, and I thought it was a lot of fun.
I consider it more of a Star Trek movie than Galaxy Quest. Not that I'm
with you. I'm with you.
Galaxy Quest, but I'm saying it is about Star Trek.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I watched it a lot when I was a kid. We talked to one of the producers like last week, so it's top of mind. So I was like, let's talk about Trekkies. But yeah, I really like Trekkies.
He's like, admittedly, I was a producer in name. Like my partners were the Star Trek fans. I was more
either way.
Wouldn't get it done.
So is it true like people don't like to be called Trekkies? They've heard checkers. Like is that an actual thing? Like
that was a thing that I had growing up. I was like, no, like Trekkies is an insult, blah blah blah. But as I got older, I was like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, who cares, right? Yeah.
I think it's kind of like nerd. They kind of retook it. Like it used to have a negative connotation. Now it's like, no one cares. It's like, oh, I'm not a nerd. I'm a geek. Like. I don't think many people in today's culture care with everything being so.
Nerds have gone so cool, and like so many cool people are quote unquote nerds, and they're admitted. Like Henry Cavill is like, I'm a gaming nerd. I love World of Warcraft. Now everybody's like, oh, it's so cool. You play World of Warcraft? Like, oh my god.
Vin Diesel plays D&D.
I've lost friends to that game. The World of Warcraft can be.
It's the devil.
If you are
it's the devil.
You're addicted to World of Warcraft, call this number.
That was one thing when I was a kid. I was like, I cannot play this because if I play it, I'll never not play it. I had to avoid it.
We had a friend that played for 4 years straight, and this was his schedule: 12 hours on Warcraft, 8 hours at work, 4 hours of sleep.
Oof.
For 3 years. Like he looked like a heroin addict whenever he would leave his house.
Yeah,
that's not good.
It was bad. But he's also a champion. It. Like, I mean, that dude's a fucking god.
Stuff.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Star Trek Beyond, which we already talked about.
Awesome. My number 2 was Star Trek 4, which again we've already talked about. Scott, what is the right number 1?
The right number 1 is 100% The Wrath of Khan.
Original, Scott.
That was my call too.
God.
No, I mean, I don't think you'd be hard pressed to say. Like, I feel like most people would agree if you're like, oh, the best Star Trek movie is Wrath of Khan.
It is one of the best, like visually entertaining wise. Yes, for my uncultured swine of taste, if you will, compared to Scott's, balanced amazement that he has and his cultivation of character. I would have to say more, Abrams Into the Darkness. Is it Into the Darkness, the Khan one?
Yeah. We talked.
Yeah, that for me is a more exciting version of it. But I can understand you thinking Wrath of Khan is a great movie because you have such.
Benedict Cumberbatch has a laser minigun in Into Darkness.
He picks up a minigun. Like, yes, that's the awesome. But I'm sorry, Scott. I'm going to tell you what the number 1 Star Trek.
Hold on, I want to talk about this for a second because I also like Into Darkness, but this is where Scott and I agree. I think Wrath of Khan is a better movie as well.
Well, it's also got more build-up behind it. So rather than just like, oh, the fandom knows who Khan is, you already know who Khan is because you watched the Space Seed.
Yeah, which was almost on my list. Space Seed almost made my
Space list. Seed is an excellent episode.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. They couldn't build up Benedict Cumberbatch into the Khan that we knew from the original because, one, it's already been done. We don't have a TV series to build him into. So we have to, in essence, make this out of nowhere. So they're trying to redo the Wrath of Khan without having the ability to have that precursor, that little tidget, that little smidget, that little morsel, you get with the original series. So they're trying to do it in this movie, and you only have 2 hours to do it in, and on top of it, they have to punch in so much action to make sure everyone's happy, and then you have the amazing Benedict Cumberbatch just kill it in the Klingon scene. Like, I'm sorry, that was a badass scene right there. But yeah, so that it's an unfair advantage comparing the two, because the Wrath of Khan had so much help with the series and having been able to build to it, whereas Into Darkness had only the first movie to build on. So I think that for me, that gives it a bit of a more weight and more of prestige, if you will.
Post Marvel method, I feel like if they, if they're universe building how they should, they could have easily done, not do Khan as a second movie, but do Khan as a third movie. And I feel like if they would have done Beyond second, and it had like the movie where like they go off and do a thing as the second movie, and then come into Khan as the third movie, would have been a little better. But it's done. What's done is done. They could have given us the build up to Khan.
A proper build up, yeah. Like have Benedict Cumberbatch just show up in the second one, and then in the third one do the Wrath of Khan. So everybody's now thrown off. They're like, oh my god, they're not doing Wrath of Khan, the greatest, arguably the greatest Star Trek movie. And Scott, I'm not disagreeing with you. It is gorgeous, but it has that background to help it propel it to being the best movie. Whereas in the remake, they didn't have that help. That didn't have that help.
Yeah, so you got two options. A, like you said, you give more build up where you give more background. I think you really lean into the whole eugenics war angle. So you build up Khan as a character in either a previous movie or this movie, so you know who he is before he has the big reveal. Or two, you just don't remake Wrath of Khan because you're setting yourself up for failure. Just do your own thing. But J.J. Abrams is creatively bankrupt, and he doesn't have any good ideas that he can finish. So he can easily capitalize.
No, that is true.
Existing.
That is 100% true.
I can't wait. I want a whole podcast of him just railing on J.J. Abrams. That's an hour long.
That dude is worse than Stephen King at ending things. It is absolutely true. I agree with you 100%. Like he sucks at the ending. It is documented already that he's terrible at ending. Like, I absolutely agree.
Honestly, JJ doesn't end things. Like his TV shows that he does, he only does the first 2 episodes and he gives it to somebody else. And then I did like Super 8. I like that movie a lot.
I never saw it.
That was one. Okay, so everyone gets
that
one.
was one.
And then I haven't seen Mission Impossible 3, so I have no comment.
Mission Impossible 3 is actually a lot of fun. Yeah, look, he's not a horrible director. When he touches something that is so sacred to people like Star Wars and Star Trek, each individual have their own vision of what they want these series to be. So you run into
JJ made the best Tomb Raider movie that we've gotten so far. I love Rise of Skywalker. It is a fantastic Tomb Raider film, and you should only watch it as a Tomb Raider film set in the Star Wars universe because you will get a lot more enjoyment out of it. Just saying, watch it as a Tomb Raider movie. It's the only way to enjoy Rise of Skywalker. Because if you watch it as a sequel to the rest of the movies, you're gonna just set yourself up for disappointment.
Phil, what's your number one?
My number one is Balance of Terror from the original series.
Fantastic episode. Introduced the Romulans.
There you go. An amazing. It's just, again, it's similar to my number 2, where Picard needs to protect this Romulan, 1/4 Romulan ensign. This one, it's like, again, it's attacking the stereotypes and the stupidities that we have for other people and why we should just like maybe find more common ground.
Yeah, I'm down for anything that says racism is bad. I agree with you on that.
I think any hate, unless it's hate against
being
racists.
Being a black man in America, I gotta say, no racism is where I want to be.
Being a white guy in Canada, I want zero racism because it puts a lot of pressure on me as a white guy, because it's so hard being a white guy in a world surrounded by white people, it's just so hard. No.
Especially Canada. Do you guys get black people up there?
There are black people in Canada.
No, see, our racism isn't against black people; it's against our indigenous population. Because we're horrible people, and we tried to stamp out, as one of our founding fathers stated, the idea of residential school is to kill the Indian child. That is nearly an exact quote from John A. Macdonald, who, even though he helped create Canada, was a massive dick.
Sounds like the people that helped create America too. But let's not get into that right now. I don't want to split our audience.
Let's move on to Justin's number one.
I'm happy to split. If the people who have a problem with indigenous and black people are going to leave, I say goodbye to you. Like I'm totally fine with splitting the audience in that way.
That's fair. That's not what I would do with that, but I completely agree with Max's sentiment. George's number one was surprisingly Three Amigos. Let's talk about it. No, George's number one was Trials and Tribulations.
Oh yeah, he said that.
He definitely talked about it a lot. Like that was his main TV show or the TV episode.
Yeah. What is your number one?
Mine was Wrath of Khan. We brought it up several times. But yeah, Wrath of Khan.
Awesome.
My number one was Galaxy Quest. Best Star Trek
nice.
movie, period.
Nice.
And my number one is Star Trek 2009, just because I can watch that movie any day, anytime. I loved everything about it. It's the reason it's so sentimental to me is because I saw all the next gen movies in the theater, and I'm sorry, but they destroyed Star Trek for me for a long time. So then when I heard the JJ movie was coming out, somebody came in the theater and said, it's a sequel, but it's not a sequel. And I went and saw it, and I had a lot of fun. Like I remember and I hadn't watched any of the Star Trek movies since I watched the Next Gen. Like it ruined Star Trek for me completely. And then I went and saw the 2009 movie, and it brought Star Trek back in my life. I went back and I revisited all the stuff that I remember I liked. And the First Contact for the Next Generation movies, that movie's fine. I like it. I love the Borgs. But I can't. What was the last one? Nemesis that Phil said he liked. Oh my God, I slept.
Look, you guys have to understand. I have a problem. I like really bad movies.
Oh, that's fine.
You and Dan should hang out.
So this is how I judge movies.
I would wish that on my worst enemy.
So how I judge a movie is one: if I can sit through it and I don't think, it gets a 7 for me. Because I do so much work, like I'm podcasting, I'm building businesses, I'm doing all this stuff. If I have to continually think 24/7, if I'm watching a movie, I'm watching a movie to be entertained. So if you can make me stop thinking and just suck me into the world, boom, I love your movie. There are movies that when I want to think, like watch those artistic kind of fartsy ones where you're like, I wonder what the director was thinking with that. Yeah, I can do those. I hate those movies. Those movies usually rank lower, even though artistically and visually they're better. I love really dumb movies that don't take themselves serious, that have fun with the fact that they're doing a movie and their only job is to entertain you. When people go in and they go, well, the camera work was just horrible. I don't care. The camera work was what it was. The acting was over the top because that's what the story called for, because the story was already ridiculous from the beginning.
Hey man, I like what you like, because I do. I like everything. I like all of the above. I like everything you mentioned except for Nemesis. But no, like
watch it. This is how you have to watch Nemesis.
I hold the movie to such esteem because it brought Star Trek back to me. Like I saw Star Trek long before I saw Star Wars. I didn't see Star Wars until people at school introduced me to it when I was like 10. So, like, I had Star Trek prior to that. And the 2009 movie reminded me that, hey, I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm going to go back and revisit the stuff that I know that I like. And, yeah, so that's why that movie is number one on my list, just because it did so much for me as far as bringing Star Trek back to me. And all the stuff it spawned that Scott hates and I love.
True. It's funny, because I also hated Nemesis and saw 2009. And instead of being excited, I was like, oh, they just plunge the corpse 6 feet deeper into the ground.
This is a problem with hardcore fans
I love
of
Scott.
any genre. Whenever someone tries to either show homage or try and reboot it for the next generation, you guys go, no, it's not in line with the original. Of course it's not in line with the original. It's not made for the original people who watch it. It's trying to get the next generation to love that and maybe go back and watch the originals. This is what the problem is with fans. They forget that they're trying to bring in more fans. So they're going to try different things to make it interesting for the next generation.
I agree with that.
There's like things you can do that are good, and then there's
But
like
that's your opinion.
You know, like
That's your opinion.
No, like I'm not a Star Trek fan. I've never been a Star Trek fan. I've always been hardcore Star Wars, and I liked the 2009 movie because it was basically Star Wars, and I'm like, yes, I'm down for this. Like, but I understand that you're bastardizing what Star Trek means to people to get me on board. Like that's fine. But no, it's all good. Like I go ahead, Jason.
I agree with what you said, Phil, to some extent. I think that yes, I think you should try like Cobra Kai. It aimed for the new generation as well as gave the fans of the original something to look forward to. And I think the same thing could
Jason
be said
just
about
wants any
Star
excuse to mention Cobra Kai.
But Cobra Kai, like Karate Kid was about karate, and Cobra Kai is also about karate. Original Star Trek isn't what 2009 Star Trek is about.
Yeah, because
I'm
evolved.
fine with people liking the new Trek, but you were saying, oh, it's going to make them go back and watch the original, but I don't think they're going to like the original because it's so fundamentally different from 2009.
See,
2009 is
here's the
much
thing,
more
Scott.
action based, and original is much more cerebral.
But you're going to have people who enjoy the action that enjoyed the new gen of Star Trek, and they're like, well, this is a remake. Let's go back and watch some of the older stuff. So maybe they'll start with Discovery, then they're going to go Voyager, then Enterprise, then Deep Space, then Next Gen, and then they'll go to the original. And that's how they're going to fall in love with the whole thing. Not everybody, like you, I'm pretty sure you don't love every TV series of Star Trek.
No, he loves Next Generation and original series, right?
I like Deep Space Nine a lot too.
So you like the early, the 80s to the 90s Star Trek.
Sure, and I like season 4 of Enterprise.
Was it the last episode when it ends?
Was it the last?
No, you can cut that. That's the heel of the bread that I just throw away.
But here's the thing: there's people that grew up with different styles of movies and all that. Because back then, and sci-fi was not looked upon. It was like, we need to build worlds. That was supposed to be worlds, but I fucked up in the middle of it. But like, you have to build these generations because these are the nerds are like this, and we grew up reading and not visually seeing the stuff. So we fell in love with the books.
I disagree. Like in that, like I think Star Trek, like the original Star Trek, was one dude's passion. And if you're on board with that, then you get on board. But then it's where the marketing guys come in, where things start to go awry. And like Next Generation was another dude. Like, okay, well, I want to continue the passion of this guy as best I can, and that's what carried forth. And so I see what you're saying, Phil, and absolutely, like getting something out there for people to enjoy is awesome. And and who doesn't enjoy explosions and bright lights? But also there's a thing where you could just call it something else and do another thing, and that's not that's not taking away from the original thing that you're putting.
I have a question for Scott.
Like
I have a question for Scott.
Let's
Scott,
let's do it.
if you had the choice to press a button that would stop any and all future Star Trek shows and movies,
I already know the answer to this.
you press it and it happens, or you get to continue the fandom of Star Trek for more generations to learn about it and come to love something that you're so passionate about. However, it will be more in the style of Abrams and the new generation of Star Trek shows. Which one are you pushing?
Wait, so it's either push the button or not push the button, right?
No. You have
hard stop, or
hard stop. Never
bastardization.
any more Star Trek. You get no more
bastardization.
TVs, movies, anything. It dies. Similar to how like
it doesn't
no one
die.
can make
It's
another.
still there.
It's
Right.
there.
Still there.
It's right there, but you can never get anything new. You can never learn more about the world that you enjoy. Or we can you press a button and it continues down the J.J. Abrams route.
Scott's grabbing a drill and making sure the button stays down.
No, see that's the thing because like you guys act like I don't want anything.
No,
new,
I'm
or
curious.
not allowing
I'm
other.
curious
No,
to know.
No, press the button, let it continue. I'm not going to watch any of it.
Okay.
But like, if you come at me and you're like, I like, 2009 Star Trek, and you want to have a discussion with me about it, I'm gonna be like, well, I don't like it, and here's why I don't like it, and here's why I don't think it continues on the spirit of the original Star Trek. I think they just have two totally different messages.
I appreciate that. The reason I ask is because a lot of fans that I've talked to are hardcore with the original, not just Star Trek, but Star Wars as well. Mm-hmm. They're hardcore with the original trilogy. Anything else is a bastardization. It shouldn't be made. Whenever I present that question to them, most of them choose kill the series.
No, I mean I'm fine with them just doing whatever, but like I'm not gonna enjoy it. Like I watched the first half of Discovery and just stopped. Like I said, I never saw the third Abrams movie. Like if people like them, that's fine. But to me, that's not Star Trek.
But Scott's still going to give it a chance. It's just like with Star Wars. Like I didn't like any of the animated shows that we got, but I didn't stop hoping. And then The Mandalorian comes along, and it's new Star Wars, and it's like,
did it give you a new hope?
It did. I like all the new Star Wars movies 100%, but it's one of the worst trilogies ever made as far as movies interconnecting with one another.
Yeah, because like we were saying, like it's not a singular vision. It's not one person's like this is the story I want to tell.
Yeah,
that's why the original trilogy was so great because it was was his the whole way. The prequel are story wise.
No. See, like the original trilogy just happened to work out.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's because of his wife. It was his wife. It wasn't Lucas's. It was his wife.
But like George Lucas is not a director or a writer. He's a
an idea man. He's also an idea man.
Oh yeah, and yeah, sure. We'll give him that. But but when Return of the Jedi comes around, he starts thinking I can do it all myself. And that's where it all starts to go wrong for me. But and that's even original fucking trilogy. For me, I hit the button. I will hard stop on anything. You got to call your thing something else. Like it's not Star Wars. It's not Star Trek. It's something else, and that's fine with me because I'm happy to watch your new thing. But don't when you've started a thing, don't fucking cut into it with some other shit. Like oh well, we're trying this now. No, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for the name you put on this thing.
All right, everybody, this is a 2-hour show, and I really got stuff to do. I'm going to bring Phil back on sometime in the near future so we can have this conversation because this is a fascinating conversation.
Yeah. This is I would love to continue this conversation.
I think our buddy Mike from McGTV would also like to jump in on this conversation. We'll show this next week. We have we're doing top 5 classic movies pre-1975, and we have from Calling Old Hollywood.
I don't know how many movies I've watched that are pre-1975.
Time you got a week to figure that out.
There you go. Start watching movies.
Better get my notebook ready. Here I go.
If Max can do a top 5 Star Trek, then anything's possible. I thought I was going to get a text from Max today, like, I'm out. It's Star Trek. Enjoy. My top 3 movies are the 3 JJ movies. Just say that on air, and I'm.
No, you said Galaxy Quest was in the mix, so I was like, all right, we're good.
He just has to figure out the fifth one. He's like, I'll just choose original movie. I don't care.
Phil, where can everybody find you online, bud?
If you guys are interested in following my journey or learning how to be an entrepreneur, I would suggest you go to investinyourselfpod.com, where you can listen to The Digital Entrepreneur, an award-winning podcast, and actually a top 10% in popularity podcast worldwide. Yay! Or if you want to follow me, go to Instagram, Podcaster Phil Better. It is the best place where I post all my content. And I thank Jason and the crew here at 3 Geeks for having me on, and I hopefully didn't upset too many of your listeners with my choice of top 5.
You did great.
Movie.
It was fun.
You're
Phil,
this conversation.
I'm
is
noticing that
fascinating.
picture behind you. You gotta give me your best Sean Connery face while you're sitting there.
Face or voice?
There it is. We got the official word. Alex Ulami says First Contact is the best Star Trek movie. Thank you, Alex, for making a cameo in the comments. We appreciate it. I do want to say that this is a good conversation, and we will invite Phil on maybe first week of October, but I'll talk to him privately because it's true. Phil and Scott have a different opinion, but you guys all saw they were very civil, and this is how conversations.
Oh, you should see the private chat, guys. Ladies and gentlemen,
terrible.
there is so many swear words between us. Woo!
What Scott's saying is, look, you can have your new Star Trek. I enjoy the previous Star Trek. So they were saying the same thing. Anyway, from all of us at the previous podcast, have a wonderful day. And in the private chat to the audience, Scott.
The private chat is on
Phil.
fire. The private chat is on fire.
Everybody have a great day.
Oh my God. Please don't forget to recycle your droid.
Follow us at 3 Geeks Podcast. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. I totally forgot to say that. That's why we had the post credits.